The Brewers will punch a ticket to the postseason.
Now here's Doug Russell.
And we have begun life as we knew it before August without Micah Parsons in Green Bay. Don't know when he'll have the surgery. It'll be soon. Then the rehab will start, but the Packers will not have him. And if you look at the injury list from yesterday, it is long. It is formidable. I know that this is a short week that we're all dealing with, but if you look at all the players that weren't at practice yesterday, that were unable to go yesterday, Josh Jacobs, unable to go yesterday, Evan Williams, unable to go yesterday, Zach Tom, unable to go yesterday, Christian Watson, unable to go yesterday. The injuries are piling up. Some of that was, I'm sure, precautionary. I get that. I understand that. Marshawn Lloyd gets injured again. It feels like what started out and what could have been a very special season and a very special January into February. It doesn't, I'm not calling all doom. Maybe I am a little bit.
It sounds very doom and gloom.
It feels like it's slipping away. It feels like perhaps it has slipped away.
Yeah, and maybe it is. I mean, as much as I want to put, the positive spin on it and be, optimistic and think like, hey, look, it can still happen because, yeah, there were a lot of injuries that we've seen teams deal with before and still end up winning the Super Bowl. It's to borrow a word from Pat Murphy, it's very daunting in order for them to deal with this. And when you lose your best player, when you lose one of your best playmakers on offense, potentially, I mean, we'll see if Watson's able to come back, but you already lost one of your other top playmakers on offense in Tucker Kraft. Eventually, it's going to become too much to be able to overcome. I don't know if this fully is that point, if this is what puts them over the edge on too much to overcome, but if they're not there, they're pretty close to it.
It's a week-to-week league, as we talk about all year long. I think earlier this season, you would have said, wow, the Packers are dealing with so many injuries. Their injury report early in the year was double-digit players weekly. Other teams are fortunate enough to have 4 or 5 players. And you look at where the Packers are at right now, and you think on paper, yeah, it just wasn't their year. I mean, they were dealt a bad hand. Who knows what happens in week 16 here? Who knows what happens in week 17 and where teams are at entering the postseason after week 18? But it's fair to think that the Packers are in a far less advantageous position now than they were 6 days ago.
Yeah.
Right. I think we were forecasting last week before week 15 got going on Thursday Night Football. Look at the NFC. Where do the Packers fall short? And it was Rams. All right, that's it. Only team we're worried about. Yep. And now it's like, gosh, if they don't win on Sunday, they're not going to win the division in all likelihood. Or on Saturday, they're not going to win the division in all likelihood. So Jordan Love's time to shine, buddy. This is your opportunity, right? We're gonna look back at this if this run ends up being a positive one and say that's when Jordan Love took command. That's when Jordan Love made the leap. That's why he's an elite quarterback.
This is the official Packers injury list from Tuesday. They had a walkthrough on Tuesday, so that's a note at the bottom. Participation reports are an estimation, but these are the full participants, which is good because you're going to need Brenton Cox Jr. as his 21-day window is still open, but not for much longer. He was a full participant. That's good news. Matthew Golden, who had some nice catches on Sunday, full participant. He's been dealing with a wrist injury. Let's see. Who else was a full participant? They put Jordan Love on the injured list. I'm not sure why. It says left shoulder. So I guess he's still dealing with that injury, I suppose, but he's on the list. They throw everybody on the list, but he'll play, obviously. Here are the ones that were limited. Chris Brooks, running back, limited participant. Colin Oliver, limited participant as his window is still open for the time being. Savion Williams, foot injury, limited participant. I went through some of the DNPs. Here are the rest of the DNPs. I mentioned Josh Jacobs, did not participate. Marshawn Lloyd did not participate, injured once again. Micah Parsons officially still on the list, but he'll go on injured reserve, so he'll join the likes of Tucker Kraft, who you don't mention every week because he's already on the shelf for the rest of the year, like Elton Jenkins, for example. But he's officially on the list. Mentioned Zach Tom. Lucas Van Ness did not participate. Foot injury, played some snaps against the Broncos. You want to see, and I would say you would want to see him back, but you kind of need to see him back at some point to go full tilt. He's had a setback, but has been able to get at least on the field a little bit. Christian Watson did not participate. Josh Wiley, tight end, concussion, did not participate. Dontavian Wicks, ankle, did not participate. Evan Williams, I mentioned him, knee, did not participate. That's a long list.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you look at the Bears, and it's Rome Odunze. And Luther Burden and Andrew Billings.
As
much
DNPs.
shorter list.
Much shorter list. A lot shorter list in Chicago than it is in Green Bay. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. I feel like
you look at it.
Go ahead, Nick.
I was saying, you just look at it and you recognize. I think there's two ways to look at the Packers season so far when it comes to injuries, and you can say, "Gosh, they've been snake bit," or it's been impressive how effective they've been, albeit injured this season. So there's hope to be held out on the Packers' regard that they've been able to manage through the injuries throughout this year. This is easily their greatest test, of course, absent Micah Parsons the rest of the way. But I mean, they've been able to be one of the best teams in the league with guys out weekly on the offensive line. And now you're going to look at the defensive line as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like every year we talk about this, and I know I'm not the only one who brings this up, but and I know this is a league where like everyone's dealing with injuries. I mean, you get to this point in the year, everyone's dealing with injuries. But it seems like every single year, the Packers are always the one dealing with a higher than average amount of injuries, right? Like every single time you see the practice participation, boards, and the Packers list is always longer than the other teams. Like every single time, every single year, it seems like there is always more injuries to this Packers squad than anyone else is dealing with.
I think to me, I mean, I know we're hyper focused on the Packers, and I get that. So I don't know how much of that is reality and how much of that is
just our bias.
Our bias and just kind of what we see on a day in and day out basis. I feel like the Packers list more guys, even if they're like, you're listing Jordan Love as, a full participant with a left shoulder injury. Well, he's been dealing with that for a month now, and he's played and he's been fine. So I don't even know why he's on the list, to be honest with you. So maybe they just list more guys. It's the severity of the injuries and to whom. Now they've been lucky because, like, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, I know they're eliminated from the playoffs for the first time since 2015, I think, or something like that. You lose your quarterback, you lose your Hall of Fame signal caller. He's out for the season, and then on into next season. Who knows for how long with the torn ACL? That's significant. So the Packers haven't had to deal with that since Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone, I think. Even when Jordan Love 2 years ago sprained his knee, he missed 2 games and was back.
But their season was essentially already over anyways.
The Chiefs?
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. Yes. I mean, being eliminated with,
being eliminated in that game,
left, right?
Like within the next 2 minutes.
Sure. So yes, there is that. But I mean, you look at, I didn't even mention Devontae Wyatt out for the rest of the year with a broken ankle. I mentioned Tucker Kraft torn ACL on a freak play. Christian Watson happened last year, but missed, the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
You're arguably your best wide receiver / playmaker. Jaden Reed missed a bunch of games earlier this year. Thank goodness he's back. And now you lose a potential Hall of Famer in his prime in Micah Parsons, who has been an absolute game wrecker and game changer for the Packers this year. You lose him for the rest of the season. It just seems like it's like, oh my God, what next?
Yeah. I'm finding a study from last season that's been updated into this year in terms of, this guy put together some point system as to, value lost while on injured reserve or unavailable for each team. And the Bills and the Packers last year were the most fortunate teams in the entire NFL, least injured. I know Watson went down, but based off this guy's point system, which is now I got to figure out how it's
like I said,
calculated.
They list a lot of guys, even if they're not injured.
And this is this past season. So 2024 season.
Sure.
Last
I know
year,
what you're saying, but
the Packers were in a position of being fortunate with injuries. And it feels like a regression to the mean in the opposite direction this year, where, now they're starting to chart towards the middle of the pack right now. And as time goes on, it's only going to get worse, right? With Parsons out, with other injuries that have impacted them, offensive line, Elton Jenkins. You've already had Kraft out for 2 months now. So
Wyatt, as I mentioned,
Packers last season were very fortunate. This season are not, right? And there's a lot of different ways you can look at that. Injuries aren't as statistically driven as, say, one-score games are, right? The Chiefs won every one-score game last year, and they lost every one-score game this year. That feels like that's feasible to correlate. Like, hey, if you're going to win a bunch of them one year, you're probably going to find a way to not be on the right side of it next year. That's just how fortune works. Injuries are maybe more nuanced, but it feels like the Packers are they reaped the benefits last year, didn't certainly execute in the postseason and get to where they anticipated they'd like to have gotten. This year, they're going to have to overcome the injuries to get to where they want to be.
I think the Packers list more guys on their on their injury list than anybody else. But again, you go back and let's see, a full participant, Brenton Cox. I mean, he's going to play. Matthew Golden's going to play. He played well on Sunday. So I understand where people are kind of thinking about that. But you're right. I mean, last year the Packers were, with the exception of their best wide receiver, arguably, at the end of the season, relatively healthy. And this year, they looked like they were going to start to get some health until the last. I think it was Kraft. It was the Tucker Kraft injury that kind of set this thing. Didn't set it in motion, but it started it. That was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was Elton Jenkins, which was the first one. It's like, okay, well, now you're missing a couple of guys on the offensive line. Then Devontae Wyatt goes out, and you could sustain all of those. You could, like, okay, next man up. You're going to need Brenton Cox Jr. back, Edgerrin Cooper. Maybe you deploy him in a little bit of a different way, and then Parsons goes out, and it's like, that's your linchpin.
Yep.
I mean, he's the core. I mean, I know that Quay Walker is the air quotes quarterback of the defense because he's the guy that's got he calls the plays. He's got the dot on his helmet. He's got the communications with Jeff Hafley. But honestly, I mean, your playmaker, your star, your quarterback, if you will, unofficially, of the defense has been number one, and now number one is gone.
When you look at the Niners, too, I mean, their entire roster has been ravaged by injuries all season long, and they are 10-4, right? And they've had the benefit of maybe a more soft schedule. They were last place in their division last year, if I'm not mistaken. So they get that 3 games a year where it's easier for them than,
Sure,
on average. But it hasn't hampered them, and it hasn't stopped them. And they even were without Purdy for most of the season, right? So yeah, Packers are in a very similar spot where they can simply just overcome the injuries by strong performances of key players who are still available. So I'm looking at this weekend. I'm looking at an opportunity to beat the Bears. You beat the Bears, you take command of the NFC North. You have to imagine you feel a great level of momentum moving into week 17, a game against Baltimore, your final home game, a team that on the other side has not been particularly consistent all year long. Packers have been the picture of consistency since that loss earlier this season to the Panthers. I felt like the Eagles defensively, they lost that game only because the offense for Green Bay wasn't good enough. But since then, you felt like you knew exactly what you were getting from them, and they had rallied off a bunch of wins in a row before this past weekend, when I think emotionally it's hard to keep yourself in it when you lose 2 guys that you are counting on in Micah Parsons and Christian Watson in the game. I think the Packers have every opportunity to still advance in the postseason. Like, I don't think they're a one-and-done team. I don't think most are anticipating that they're going to be outmatched in round 1. But I do think at this point now you're looking at, unless they win out, they're probably not going to be a 2 seed. So you're 3 seed at best. Probably not the 4. Probably can't even get to the 4 because 7-7 is that mark.
No, it's either it's 2, 3, 7 are out, I think.
One would be on the table, right? I mean, if the Rams collapse.
I mean,
but
do you see that happening?
In all likelihood, they're either 2, 3, 6, 7, right? 6, 7. But other than that, I mean, you're in a good spot to be in the playoffs and have an opportunity to host a game for sure if you win your division.
I think
Nick, I think you've made that 6-7 thing every single show this week already.
When I say it unintentionally, then I have to re-emphasize it intentionally because it's all I hear.
You have to do that. You have to do the arm movement too.
I think that's kind of like what you have to do.
Yeah.
Is it just Pavlovian now?
We're all trying to get a larger audience to listen to our shows.
Yeah, want the kids in there.
Yeah,
that's right.
Get the youth.
Yes. Hello, fellow children. Fellow kids.
How do you do, fellow kids?
The game that so certainly the most important game on the Packers schedule from here on out is the Bears game on Saturday night. Absolutely. And it seems obvious to say that the next most important game is that game against the Ravens. I think the next most important game for the Packers after the Bears game isn't necessarily even one that involves the Packers. I think their next most important game is the Sunday night football game against the Ravens against the Patriots, because if the Patriots are able to beat the Ravens, that's going to demoralize the Ravens to the point where they're probably on the outside looking in at that point, because right now they're 7-7. Right now they're trailing the Steelers. Pittsburgh is 8-6 on the year. Indianapolis 8-6 on the year. Baltimore 7-7 on the season. So, I mean, it's starting to fritter away a little bit exactly what their opportunities are going to be. And if they go down on Sunday night to New England, and the Patriots obviously having a great season at 11-3, they've got a lot to play for as well, because they want to be the number 1 seed. They're a game behind the Broncos right now. So New England, they're going to come into that ball game, I would say motivated, if you will. Certainly they were motivated against the Bills and they frittered away that lead. But I think that it's an important game on Sunday night between the Patriots and the Ravens, because if the Ravens lose that game and they're all but looking out of the playoffs, it's like maybe they start to think about doing some different things. Maybe they shut down Lamar, who's been very, as you use your word, Nick, inconsistent this year.
No doubt. Yeah, this is a unique year for sure in the NFL. We have a path towards the playoffs with no Mahomes already, no Burrow already, and potentially no Lamar Jackson in the AFC. I think that's really intriguing to consider what and where we are, because I think those might have been 3 of the top 5 teams that you would have picked to make the Super Bowl in the AFC.
Yeah. Were they your locks preseason? I know you had like your 6 locks or whatever it was, Nick.
Yeah. My locks are going very poorly. Like super bad. Super bad.
It's the NFL for you.
Well, you had the Chiefs as a lock, I'm sure.
I'll find them here. It's in this old notebook. I got to flip back through it, but I know I had the Chiefs. I know I had the Lions. I know I had the Ravens, and I know I had. I think honestly, I might even have put the Commanders for sure too. So I'm talking about there's a chance that like 4 of my 7 locks are already eliminated, and then I have some more that are probably certainly on track towards being eliminated. But once I find it, I'll let you guys know.
Outstanding. All right, let's lay out the show for you. The Hall of Fame voice of the Packers, Wayne Larrivee, he's going to join us in less than 20 minutes, so we're looking forward to that. Also, Matt LaFleur, he's going to meet the media at the podium. We'll hear from him. A little bit of a tape delay in the 11 o'clock hour. Also, we'll talk some Wisconsin Badgers men's basketball, hear from Greg Gard. They've got a big matchup against Villanova, so a big non-conference matchup in Milwaukee. Fiserv Forum, as Patrick Herb told us yesterday. Tickets are still available, but we'll hear from Greg Gard coming up. 12 o'clock hour, I'm looking forward to this. I know you guys aren't Survivor fans, but I am. So
I'm not a fan.
Okay. Andrea Belke, who played 3 times, she's coming in, and we will talk all things Survivor finale tonight. Plus, Survivor 50 is coming up. If you've got any questions that you want to know about reality television, whether it's Survivor or any other show, hit us up on the talk and text line, 877-794-1973. Put it out on social media yesterday. Got a few nibbles, so we'll ask some questions from the audience, if you will, at least the social media audience, but would love to hear from you as well. Andrea will be in studio at about 12:20 or so. And also Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State Journal. He's going to join us in the 1 o'clock hour as well.
I had 8 playoff locks, 3 in the AFC, 5 in the NFC, and Chiefs, Ravens, Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, and
Bills,
ding, Bills are in.
Bills are in.
And then I had Eagles. I wrote down commies for Commanders. So that's a Rams, ding. Yep. Niners, probably a ding. I don't know if they've locked in.
Yeah, they're close. They're not there yet, but they're close. Yeah. That West, the NFC West is tough.
And then Lions. I had the Packers not as a guarantee.
Interesting. Well, the Lions could still sneak in. I mean, they're 8-6.
We did this before Micah, by the way. We did this before Micah. So when I did this in July, I didn't know Micah Parsons would be a Packer.
But I believe Heller was trying to tell you, it's like, hey, anything can happen in this league, so it's hard to mark anyone.
That's Heller for you. He's the eternal optimist.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I don't know if I wrote Mike's down or not. But yeah, I'm sure everybody had the Chiefs, okay?
Well,
who in their right mind?
It's the statement of, well, until somebody knocks the champs out. Well, the champs are knocked out.
They knocked themselves out.
At least the AFC champs are.
Yeah. By the Chargers of all teams.
Yeah.
Who knew? You know what? Justin Herbert, At some
He's all
point,
right.
at some point, it's going to be for the Chargers, like it is the Bills with Josh Allen, like it will be for the Packers with Jordan Love. It's going to be, as I like to say, put up or shut up time. Either you're going to show that you're able to lead your team to a Super Bowl, or you're not.
Mike had Packers winning division. I had Lions.
Mike always had the Packers winning the division.
Yeah,
that's
not
he's the
news.
most. He's the most. Listen, I love Mike. We all love Mike. He's the most. And I would say this to his face. I have said this to his face. He's the biggest home team homer when it comes to picking that stuff. We love him for it.
Yes.
But that doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Well, both of us might be wrong.
That he picked the Pack. Well, it's true. You never know. That's why they play the games. All right. One segment down. We are just getting started. Wayne Larrivee is going to join us in a few minutes. Also, how's your Christmas shopping going? And happy birthday, Mom. All that and more coming up. It's D.N.D. on the game.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game. Micah Parsons is out for the season.
And Micah Parsons is down. He was chasing the quarterback. Parsons battling McGlinchey, beat him as he came across, and then just pulled up. Left knee. Micah Parsons. Oh, my goodness.
Parsons' injury, a non-contact injury, and he is so sudden and so explosive. He stops, and the knee joint probably just kept going.
Yeah.
Where do the Packers go from here?
I told the guys nobody's going to feel sorry for us, and we got to rally around one another, and everybody's going to have to elevate their play.
We're talking about what's next for the Pack with the best analysis and the best guests.
The voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrivee, joining us.
It's on to Chicago now. There's not much you can do about the Denver game. You hope to get some of these guys back. Again, I hope Zach Tom can play. He's crucial. But, the players I mentioned, they're all blue chip players that went out. And Evan Williams, another guy that underrated. I mean, they need him in that secondary. Micah Parsons, like you said, that changes everything. Christian Watson, I mean, maybe Matthew Golden can pick up the slack downfield, but again, he's just a rookie, and I thought he stepped up and played really well yesterday. He's got the best hands on this team. Yeah. All right, he does. And I think Matthew Golden is a guy in this last month of the season, we were really hopefully going to see what he can bring to the party, because I think he's got a lot to offer.
On your home for the best Packers coverage, The Game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Eagles songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Life in the Fast Lane.
He was too tired to make it. She was too tired to fight about it. Life in the fast lane. Surely make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane. Life in the fast lane. Everything, all the time.
Number 2, Take It Easy.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels make you crazy. Come on, baby. Don't say maybe.
Number 1, Hotel California.
There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place.
Hear more from the Eagles and similar artists now. Search for the Eagles on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to number 1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Withers hits number 3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of 71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 #1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqua Lungs.
Running down his nose, greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey, Aqualung.
In April, the Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their third #1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their second #1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the #1 single Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and it's not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
Congratulations are in order to the New York Knicks.
Yay!
The New York Knicks get to hoist a trophy for the first time in 52 years.
I don't believe you.
Oh, no, it's true. Oh, it's true. Saw it with my own 2 eyes. They hoisted an NBA Cup championship trophy.
Wait, I thought I heard a little word in between NBA and championship. What was that? Was that a little hiccup or what was that? Did I stutter? It's an NBA Cup championship trophy.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
They get nothing for that from me. Nothing.
They get to hang a bed sheet that says they are the NBA Cup champions.
Good for them.
Oh yeah.
From a Wisconsin perspective, Tyler Kolek is becoming one hell of a player.
Yeah,
I think that needs
Tyler
to be
Kolek.
given credit. Marquette legend. I know from a Badgers
Armin's
perspective, we're supposed to hate the guy. And for a guy who can't read, remember that? That was all over the internet that he couldn't read before the draft. He's turned into a good player. And Mike Brown in the Knicks, they fired a coach in Tom Thibodeau that was doing a very good job. And so far, Mike Brown has elevated some of those guys that maybe hadn't gotten to that point. And the bench matters for the Knicks. Not playing 40 minutes a game every starter, the Thibodeau special, might be a benefit to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not anti-Knicks.
Depth is good.
We've had
who knew
this debate.
Yeah.
Mike used to get on me because he'd be like, "Hey, I would hate for the Knicks to win because I don't want Stephen A. to be happy." And I'm like, dude, I couldn't care less. I'd prefer the Knicks over, name your team. I have nothing against them.
But also, here's the thing: if we don't want Stephen A. to be happy, then that means the Dallas Cowboys have to, win things, because then he's not happy. Because Stephen, as happy as Stephen A. is when the Knicks do something good, he is just as happy, if not more, when the Dallas Cowboys do something bad.
I try and often fail to not live in the world of Schadenfreude land. Again, oftentimes I fail. We talked about that yesterday. Would you rather see the Packers win or the Bears lose? And most said Packers win, but some said Bears lose.
Yeah.
It's like the adage from so many athletes when you hear, I would rather, I hate losing more than I love winning.
Right.
You hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And
Billy Bean.
Sure. I mean, a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he's one of them.
Yeah. But from Moneyball, that was one of the,
Yes. But maybe that's where it started. I'm not sure, but we hear it a lot nowadays. So from that standpoint, I mean, do I love it when Stephen A. is crowing as, for the promo for First Take comes on one of the big screens here in the studio? I don't love it, but then again, what I can do? I can always not watch him. I can always turn the sound, like right now, the sound is down and I can just see him flapping his gums, Well, and with Mad Dog Russo too, because he's a lunatic himself.
Yeah. But and what's funny too is that Mad Dog was on the complete opposite end there for Stephen A. Just saying like anyone getting excited about the NBA Cup is like losing their minds and they're inauthentic. It's like this means absolutely nothing. And he's just trying to take the wind out of Stephen A's sails, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean Stephen A's. I mean they're both inauthentic. I mean I think Mad Dog's maybe a little bit more authentic. But the first time I ever encountered Mad Dog live and in person was at one of the Super Bowls. I was probably 45, either 39 or 45. One of the ones that his set for WFAN was about 15 yards the other way. He brought in great guests all the time, like Adam Sandler and Hugh Jackman. I mean, they were dropping by all the time. But I was doing morning show. He was doing morning show, and we started at about the same time, and he just starts his show, as you know, if you've ever listened to him, just screaming at the top of his lungs.
Good afternoon, everybody.
It was the morning. He was doing the mornings at the time. Yeah, it was just like, what in the hell did I just walk into?
Yeah.
And
that's Mad Dog.
I saw him over there, and it's like, surely he's not going to bellow at the top of it. No,
I am going to, and don't call me Shirley.
And shows what I know.
Yeah.
So congratulations to the New York Knicks. All right, coming up next, Wayne Larrivee, the Hall of Fame voice of your Green Bay Packers, is coming up straight ahead. The Packers beating life. Without Micah Parsons, they've got the Chicago Bears. Huge game coming up on Saturday nights. Soldier Field, Chicago. How do you make up for the loss not only of Micah Parsons, but now, they're just starting to pile up. It's Devontae Wyatt, it's Tucker Kraft, it's Elton Jenkins, it's other guys that are a little bit less nicked up, but they're still pretty banged up. But losing number one, that one's going to leave a mark. We'll talk about it with Wayne coming up straight ahead on the other side. Stay with us. It's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
We are the champions.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D will be back in just a moment.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Ain't it time we said goodbye?
The Rolling Stones are back on top with the number one album in the U.S. and the U.K. and a number one single, Angie.
Come on, baby.
Let's Get It On is a number one single and a number two album for Marvin Gaye. Also in August of 73, Stevie Wonder is back with the number 4 album, Inner Visions. And Florida band Leonard Skinner released their debut album, have a top 20 hit with Freebird, and tour opening for The Who.
Won't you fly?
Fast forward to October, where on their 8th album, the Steve Miller Band debut a smooth blues rock sound and score a number one hit with The Joker.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
All the band on the run. Band on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first number one album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single.
Everybody says she's looking good. And the lady knows it's understood.
In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, get a new drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the U.K. and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better. When you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to #1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations the Bay City Rollers finally score a hit in the U.S. with the #1 single Saturday Night.
Saturday night.
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a #2 U.S. album with Silk Degrees. Peter Frampton hits #1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you, show me the way every day. I want you, show me the way night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album, Jailbreak, scores them a #12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at Dino's.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976. Coming up.
Coming up on Saturday night, 7:20 kickoff at Soldier Field in Chicago. It's the Packers and the Chicago Bears. Things look a little bit different this week than they did a couple of weeks ago, as #1 will not be on the field. You hope he's back for the start of next season. That's what he tweeted out on social media, just with the caption September, but it's not going to be December or January. God, February would have been nice. But there's still games to be played. Joining us on the program right now, you listen to him, and you have for the last 26 years on the Packers Radio Network. The great Wayne Larrivee joining us here on D.N.D. Hi, Wayne. How are you today?
Good, Doug. How you doing?
Doing great. Doing better than Micah Parsons' left knee. But, boy, it's one of those things. And I was listening to your call of it. And, I mean, it's just one of those things you know right away, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. I remember when Robert Brooks went down to that Monday night game against San Francisco in the 1996 season. And I was at the game there, and I saw it from afar from the south end zone bleachers way up. And I could see he made a move off the line of scrimmage. Nobody was near him, and he went down like he was shot. And when you see that happen, those are the worst injuries in football. You think it's the big blow-up injuries, helmet to helmet, and all this other stuff. The worst injuries, folks, the ones that are definitely take you out for the season, are the ones that have no contact in them whatsoever.
Wayne, when you consider where the Packers are at as a team, banged up as they are, is the division title satisfying enough, in your opinion, for this to be a successful campaign? Or do you think that they still have to prove in the postseason that they are a team that has improved year over year?
Well, I mean, given the light of where they are with the injury situations, I mean, there's no Micah Parsons going forward. And this week they could be missing a number of players. We'll have to see later on as the injury report comes out. But, this is hard because injuries change the trajectory of your team. What doesn't change are the expectations. And the coach will say, the standard is the standard. That's Mike Tomlin coined that phrase, by the way. Yeah. And all these coaches use it across the board. And next man up. But there is a reason the next man up wasn't up in the first place. So you have to look at it realistically. And boy, this is going to be a tough road to hoe down the stretch for this football team with the kind of injuries they've incurred.
Wayne, and one of those guys who's going to be that next man up, Brenton Cox Jr. I mean, coming back from IR, we're expecting this week to get activated. I mean, with all these guys, are going to have to step up, and there's no one player that can replace what Micah Parsons brought. But how does Jeff Hafley scheme up this defense in order to keep pressure on the quarterback?
Well, I haven't seen practice, and even if I did, I wouldn't tell you what I saw. Because it's a closed situation, and they are gracious enough to allow Larry and I to watch practices that are closed to the general public and the media. And that gives us an opportunity to understand where they are and what they're doing going into the game. But how is Jeff Hafley? So given an outside view, as I'm offering now, what do I expect Jeff Hafley to do? I think one of the key players in pass rush has got to be Edgerrin Cooper. Now, the problem with Edgerrin Cooper is he's also your best coverage linebacker, okay? He's your best linebacker, period. Most instinctive linebacker, in my opinion, in that core. And he's the guy also happens to be the best blitzing linebacker, although I think Quay Walker gives him a run for his money in that category. But those linebackers are going to have to be closer to the line of scrimmage, and they're probably coming on third and passing. So I think that's going to be different from what they've been doing since they acquired Micah Parsons. But understand one thing. They didn't know they were going to have Micah Parsons going into the season until after preseason. So they understand how this thing works, how it's going to have to work going forward, because that's how they prepared for the regular season.
How important then does become Rashawn Gary? How much pressure is on 52? Because when you had, and he hasn't had a sack in a number of weeks, but early in the season, when you had one coming from one side, Van Ness going through the guards, and then number 52 on the other side, I mean, everybody was eating. Now you got one on the shelf. Number 90, Van Ness, we'll see what happens as he tries to come back more fully. But how much pressure do you see on Rashawn Gary now that Parsons is out?
I think he stood up in the locker room after the game in Denver and said that, he feels a lot of responsibility. He feels he's pressuring himself to be better. And if I'm not mistaken, since he had 2 sacks at Pittsburgh, he hasn't had a sack.
Yeah.
They need him to be a force. They really do. Is he capable of it? Well, we'll see. Time will tell. But I think he's got to be a big player in this. Van Ness gets an opportunity to step up. And hopefully he's healthy enough now where he can do that. You guys mentioned Brenton Cox. If they bring him off IR, he's another live body in there. So, yeah, they're going to have to do some of this stuff. And they're also playing without Devontae Wyatt in the middle. Their defensive front, without Devontae Wyatt and Micah Parsons, is compromised. There's no question about that. We'd be stupid not to say that. But by the same token, you expect these other guys now who are drafted into the first round, like Van Ness and Gary, to pick up the slack. This is their opportunity. Injury to one is an opportunity for another in the NFL.
Parsons has taken the headlines this season from the Packers' success. I think that is natural because you bring in a 4-time All-Pro, a guy that nationally is considered amongst the best at his position. Jordan Love's got an opportunity here now, Wayne, to maybe take the reins and be the guy that leads the story the rest of the way. When you look at Love and what I would consider an opportunity ahead of him, what do you make of the chance that he could be considered maybe an upper echelon quarterback come season's end?
Well, they better protect him better than they did in the second half at Denver. But I think you saw in the first half how the Packers, when they were whole, moved that football against that defense, that Denver defense. They had, 200 yards at halftime or thereabouts. They were moving the football real well right into the third quarter on that first drive when they scored. So this is a very capable offense and a very capable quarterback. But when Zach Tom went down, it became tougher and tougher to protect Jordan Love. And that's going to be the big factor right there. Because if Love gets protection, he can pick apart any defense, and he can be the guy to step up and carry that offense, much like what Josh Allen is doing for the Buffalo Bills right now. And Jordan's going to have to do a version of that for the Packers to get to the promised land.
Yeah, one of Jordan's favorite targets to pick apart a defense is Christian Watson, and he left that game too in Denver. And you noted on the broadcast how the momentum really seemed to change in that game once Watson went out. But thankfully, it seems like he avoided anything major. But just how is he going to be able to pick apart if he doesn't have Christian Watson on that on the outside?
Well, big opportunity for Matthew Golden, whom they started to scratch the surface with in Denver a little bit. Golden runs good routes. He's not just a flyby guy, but he runs 4.2 in the 40 and has the best hands on the team. I will say bar none. Best hands I've seen on that football team. Made a couple of nice pluck catches in Denver, and I really think he's a guy who is going to get more and more opportunities as we go down the stretch. And I think he's ready for that. He's had injuries. He's had some time off. He's behind about 4 or 5 guys on that receiving tree, but he's going to get an opportunity if Christian can't go this week.
The Hall of Fame voice of the Packers, Wayne Larrivee, joining us here on D.N.D. on the Game Radio Network. 2 weeks ago, these two teams met at Lambeau Field, the rematch coming up on Saturday night. What can the Packers learn and glean from that game that they won? Game right down to the wire, came down to a Keyshawn Nixon interception. But what can they learn going into the Saturday night game from what we saw a couple weeks ago?
I would think Matt LaFleur is telling his team that the Bears squad you saw in the second half at Lambeau Field is the team you're going to see for 4 quarters in Chicago. And, that Bears team is very impressive. The way they moved the football and Jeff Hafley's defense controlled the second half, ran 40 plays to 19 for Green Bay, outscored the Packers in the second half. This is an impressive football team, certainly on the offensive side. And I think that's what you learned in that game in Lambeau Field. That's really what you learned about the Bears. And they took some, Kevin Kugler was just a guest. We just recorded the podcast, the Larrivee LePay podcast. Kevin Kugler, the play-by-play announcer for Fox Sports, he had the Bears last week and had Caleb Williams last week in an interview situation. When they sit down and do that for the research and that type of thing, he said Caleb Williams was just outstanding and he's just feeling really good. Whereas last year at this time, he was just a beaten man. So the Bears gained some momentum from that second half in Green Bay, even though they lost the game. They went out and basically took apart Cleveland to the cold, and very impressive in that game at Soldier Field. And now they get Green Bay coming back. So this is a tough spot for the Packers if you're thinking about investing in this game, but it's not an insurmountable type of thing. And it's a great rivalry, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers rise up and some of these guys getting an opportunity play their best games this week.
Rome Odunze banged up. Burden added to the injury report yesterday for the Bears. I think their bread and butter is in the trenches with those running backs, Swift and Monungai. Now you got a weaker defensive line for the Packers. Is stopping the run going to be their greatest challenge? I think it was the same thing last time around.
Yeah, they did handle the run. They contained the run last time. 140-some yards or whatever it was, 133 for the Bears in that game, but it took them 32 attempts to get there, and not once did they break a run longer than 9 yards. And understand, the Bears lead the universe in explosive running plays, 10 yards or more this season. So I thought Jeff Hafley's defense held up really well. They didn't have Devontae Wyatt. So it'll be interesting to see how they go this time around.
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge, against that running game of team. But, really how much of the challenge is the Bears defense going to present for Love there as well with how they've improved this year?
Yeah, they are better than their numbers would indicate. I think they really played well, obviously, against a bad Cleveland offense. But this is a Bears team that there's kind of a misnomer to it. They give up a lot of yards. So we all say, wow, they're ranked 27th in yards or whatever it is. And we all say, well, that's not a good defense. And but really where they're good is on third downs, and they're best in the world at taking the ball away. They're plus 20 on the turnover giveaway board. And so, this is a defense that's very formidable. They're not real good in the red zone, but they answer the bell on a number of areas, sacking the quarterback, taking the football away. And that'll get you a long way in this league, especially during the regular season. So obviously, and I think they'll play better even than they did in Green Bay, and they played pretty well in the second half of the game in Green Bay.
The last couple minutes that we have with Wayne Larrivee, Hall of Fame voice of the Packers, I want to spin around the rest of the league. I know you pay attention to all of the teams that play in the National Football League. Who's been your biggest surprise this year? You got Seattle at 11-3. You got San Francisco at 10-4. Really strong division in the West. Detroit right now, they're 8-6 on the outside looking in of the playoffs. Kansas City eliminated from the playoffs. You saw that incredible game between Buffalo and New England this past week. What's been the biggest surprise for you this year as you look around the NFL?
Well, I know a lot of the people that are putting together the personnel for the Patriots because they were in Green Bay for so long, but Elliott Wolf and Alonzo Highsmith are behind what they're building in New England. I didn't think they were going to be as good this year as they are. Now, Buffalo went in there and beat them. The New England has a great record, but they're not a great team. Denver has a great record, but they're not a great team. They're not unbeatable. None of these teams are as good as the Lions last year at this time, as the Philadelphia Eagles, as the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens of last year. No, there's nobody of that ilk, okay? So this is pretty wide open. But there are teams with very good records, and they're well coached. And I tell you what, New England has surprised me a lot. I'm a little surprised at Kansas City, but I thought, they're tired. They're just tired. I mean, come on, 7 years of going to the Super Bowl and AFC title games.
Yawn.
It's just tough. I mean, they played a whole season more than anyone else over the last 7 years or so.
Yeah,
so they're done. They're just done. And I kind of expected that. But New England is a big surprise to me. Seattle to a lesser degree. But, that's really the NFL today. Anybody can beat anybody. Look what Atlanta did last week going into Tampa Bay. Buccaneers are trying to wrap up the division and a spot in the playoffs. And, Kirk Cousins goes in there and beats them. And so, anything can happen. And here's the other thing. We had this discussion on the podcast, the Larrivee LePay podcast with Kevin Kugler. And Kevin and I came to the conclusion that home field doesn't mean as much in the playoffs this year because you don't have a dominant team this year. And I don't think home field is as big a deal. I mean, you'd like to be at home if you're Denver. You'd like to be at home if you're New England. But that's not the end-all, be-all because these teams are pretty close.
So I don't know if we know who the best team in the NFL is right now, but according to Awful Announcing, and this is not a surprise, this was more of kind of a duh to me. Awful Announcing polled their, website users for the 32 best and worst NFL local radio broadcast teams. This is not a surprise. You guys, number one, baby, number one.
Way to go.
Let's see some of the comments. An institution in Wisconsin, and my favorite is these guys are higher grade than A.
Well, there was a surprise to me. Let me put it that way. First off, I didn't know the poll was underway. So,
Well done.
Blame me for stuffing the ballot. I didn't know there was one.
It is not a surprise to anyone who's listening to the sound of our voice or who has listened to you guys for the last 27 years on the Packers Radio Network. You guys are top of your game. Nobody has lost any fastballs. You guys are the best of the best, and everybody knows it. And I know you would never say that about yourself, so I'm going to say it for you anyway. We'll listen to you coming up on Saturday night. We always appreciate the time here on the Game Radio Network. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Same to you guys. Thank you very much for your kind words and support. And we'll look forward to doing this again next week. But happy holidays to everybody.
Absolutely. There he goes, the Hall of Fame voice of your Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrivee. The Packers. Wayne and Larry, John Kuhn on the sidelines as well. They got the most A grades, 68 A grades from 137 ballots. They also tallied 44 Bs. I don't know who I think it was Bears fans who were tallying the 11 Fs. So I don't get that at all. Had to be. So those are just hater votes. And they just beat out Arizona's team. Arizona has a terrible football team, but a really good play-by-play announcer in Dave Pash. I mean, he's really solid. Oh, yeah. He's really good. But they just beat out Arizona, 3.109 votes to 3.098 votes. So pretty damn good company. But again, not a surprise to anyone who's ever listened to these guys over the last 27 years. 1 hour down, 3 hours to go. Stay with us. It's D.N.D. on the game.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In May of 69, Neil Young releases his first album with Crazy Horse, Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere, featuring the songs Cinnamon Girl and Down by the River. The Who released a double concept album, Tommy, which goes top 10 in the US and the UK.
Even on my favorite table, he can't beat my best. His disciples needed him, and he just does the rest. It's not crazy, clever fingers, never seen him fall. That gift of a blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
David Bowie's single Space Oddity, released to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing, reaches number 5 in the UK. Also in July, Bob Dylan has a top 10 hit with Lay Lady Lay in his new, deeper-sounding vocal style, which he attributes to quitting smoking.
Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you, and you'll see them shine. Lay, lady, lay, lay across my big breast bed.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears have a number 2 hit with Spinning Wheel, popularizing the so-called brass rock movement. That includes BST, Chicago, and Electric Flag.
Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Kept your painted pony on the spinning wheel ride.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In January of 1978, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack is released featuring the music of the Bee Gees. It hits number 1 in the U.S. for more than 6 months. An amazing 18 weeks at number 1 in the UK, it becomes the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. In February of 78, Pasadena, California hard rock band Van Halen released their self-titled debut album. It hits number 19 on the charts. Their cover of The Kinks' You Really Got Me cracks the top 40 at number 36. In March, the Patti Smith Group released their third album, Easter. It goes to number 20. Their single, Because the Night, goes to number 13. It was co-written with Bruce Springsteen. In May of 78, Detroit rock singer Bob Seger releases his 10th album, Stranger in Town. It goes to number 4 in the U.S., yielding 3 top 20 singles, including Still the Same, which also goes to number 4.
Are you still the same?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In May of 69, Neil Young releases his first album with Crazy Horse, Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere, featuring the songs Cinnamon Girl and Down by the River. The Who released the double concept album Tommy, which goes top 10 in the US and the UK.
Even on my favorite table, he can't beat my best. His disciples needed him, and he just does the rest. Stop crazy, little fingers. Never seen him fall. That kid, dumb and blind kid, sure plays a mean pinball.
David Bowie's single Space Oddity, released to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing, reaches number 5 in the UK. Also in July, Bob Dylan has a top 10 hit with Lay Lady Lay in his new, deeper-sounding vocal style, which he attributes to quitting smoking.
Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you, and you see them shine. Lay, lady, lay, play across my big breast bed.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears have a number 2 hit with Spinning Wheel, popularizing the so-called brass rock movement. That includes BST, Chicago, and Electric Flag.
Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Kept your painted pony on the spinning wheel ride.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets. Place your bets.
VSiN every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to discuss how he comes up with song titles.
Yeah, actually, a lot of my song titles are mumbles. With Cuts Like a Knife, it was just like, we used to jam, Jim Valance and I would jam songs together. And I remember we listened back to the tape afterwards. And I said, that sort of sounded like Cuts Like a Knife. Didn't it sound like Cuts Like a Knife? He goes, yeah. And then I play it back again. Yes, I said Cuts Like a Knife. That's cool. And then he'd say, what about Cuts Like a Knife, but it feels so right? I said, that's a good idea. So whatever that means. He makes sense of my mumbles.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
Attention, please. We are the gang and the home of D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave. Weekdays from 10 to 2, live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Watch the show on YouTube, Facebook, and X by searching 97.3 The Gang.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Move over, Milwaukee Bucks. We have new NBA Cup champions.
The New York Knicks are NBA Cup champions.
Tell me it don't mean something, Coach. Look at this.
This is incredible. You know who the true MVP is, Ian? Adam Silver and the NBA office for coming up with this idea of the NBA Cup.
Come on.
Are you familiar with the acronym JFC? Come on now.
Come on.
Are you joking? Are you really? Okay, so I know that these guys tangentially are paid sort of by the NBA.
Yeah.
But do you have to suck up that much?
Yeah, that's a little extra.
I mean, you're gonna hang a bed sheet. Congratulations.
Yeah,
You know what it meant last year to the Bucks? Nothing. You know what it meant the year prior to the Lakers? Nothing. You know what this cup means? It means nothing.
Yeah, that's brown nosing, not because you have to, but because you like it.
God.
The win doesn't count towards your record, right, on the season. It just goes into the ether.
Tells you everything you need to know.
Knicks have already announced they will not be raising a banner like the Lakers and Bucks did. The Knicks have announced they will not be doing so. They're going to celebrate with their fans Friday at home.
I respect that. I respect the Knicks for holding firm on that.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade there on the call, getting a little too hyped, a little too excited. And then Ian Eagle and which Van Gundy? Stan Van Gundy there. Yeah. I watched a little bit of it. I'm not going to lie. Last night I was at a loss. My girlfriend worked early this morning, so she went to bed earlier than normal. I worked till midnight last night on my computer. So I was like, what do I watch? So I put it on.
Sure.
Pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Every time I watch a game on Prime, the audio is a second ahead of the shot itself. So it'll be like shots about to go towards the hoop. It's within a foot and it's bang! And then it goes through. I'm like, so I already know it's in before it goes in.
I think the product was fine. I think the game was fine. I'm just saying that
I didn't like the camera angle. They do this moving camera where they're like zooming in on players and then moving it, zooming out and going in. I don't love it.
Yeah, but you got to zoom in on Tyler Kolek, 14 points off the bench to help, 5 rebounds, 5 assists as well. So great game for the Marquette alum. Happy for him. Armin's not in today, so someone's got to point it out for
He played
for the
well.
Marquette guy.
Yeah, Kolek played well.
And the thing about Kolek is he looked like a college basketball player that was going to excel at that level, and then at the NBA level, like it just wouldn't pan out. It happens all the time. There are great college basketball players. He's doing both, so credit to him.
It reminds me a little bit. You guys aren't old enough to remember when Tony Bennett came out of Green Bay and played for the Charlotte Hornets. He was an okay player. He just reminded me of that, kind of a little bit of an undersized guy, good passer, smart player. Maybe his trajectory might be more in the coaching realm as opposed to the playing realm. But yeah, Kolek's playing well right now in the NBA, so good for him. I don't know how long Tony Bennett played in the league, but a few years. He was there for a couple years. He was played in Europe for a while. I think that a lot of people saw that as a trajectory for Kolek as well before Tony Bennett then went on his dad's staff at Wisconsin and then Washington State and then ultimately Virginia.
Yeah. So, good for him. Good for him to be able to get there playing well. Who's not playing well is Tua. The Dolphins have benched Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa.
Come on.
That's a good one. No. I mean, listen, you sometimes, as I think it's a theme of this week and last week, sometimes you just got to wear it. He's got to wear it.
Yeah, he's going to have to. And instead of going with Zach Wilson, who they probably couldn't find because he was prowling for moms on Miami Beach, they end up instead going with Quinn Ewers, the 7th-round pick out of Texas, to be their starting quarterback this next week.
Yeah. When Zach Wilson asks, "How's your old lady?" He's really asking how your old lady is.
He's genuinely asking.
How's she doing? What's up with that?
Oh, your dad's not in the picture? Oh. Damn.
Shouldn't we have seen this coming with Tua, right? He's splitting his time between playing NFL quarterback and being a part of President Trump's Council of Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. I mean, this is a guy that was appointed. Yeah. Tua is on the Butker is on the thing. Let me think who else. Saquon declined, but very interesting. I think DeChambeau, golf, he's in it.
Yeah,
not a
Bryson, what a guy. But Tua's bad. He's a bad football player.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's right. That's right.
It just sounded like something
we've got
that he
some
would
of the
say,
most brilliant minds.
He's incredible.
I think, you know what? Donald should have taken up the accordion because he's got.
Yeah,
that,
he does the hand movement.
He does that a lot.
But Tua's very bad. I think it makes sense for them to go to Quinn. I know it's kind of head scratching if you're Zach Wilson, like, yo, you're paying me to be the backup here, but I think they know what he is, and they've been impressed by Quinn in limited action in the preseason. Now, Ewers will get a shot here against a Bengals defense that is terrible on Sunday, and I'll be at the game, so I'm going to get to watch that.
Let's
I'll
go.
get to see Quinn Ewers' first career start down in Miami.
You don't have to watch Tua play football. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So
Well, it could be worse.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you get to instead watch what remains of Joe Burrow as he gets sacked 8 times a game against Quinn Ewers making his first start. So that's going to be fun.
Not great.
Somebody's got to ask Matthew Golden about that up in Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Your boy's getting the start.
Yeah.
You going to be any good?
Oh, I would imagine that's got to be Mike Clemens. That would do that.
Could be. Seems like something that Mikey might ask.
Yeah. I could see him doing that.
I could see that's a Huber question. No, that's a Ryan Wood question too.
Ooh, yeah, might be more Ryan Wood.
Are all the players made available?
Well, they're supposed to be available. They don't generally. So if it was Micah, he would usually. He's not speaking anymore this year because he's injured and he doesn't have to. But if you're on the active roster, you have to be air quotes available to talk. And if you're not, reporters who are trying to find you can make an inquiry with the public relations staff, and you're supposed to be made available to them. Generally, you know that Jordan Love is going to speak once per week. You have to be available once per week. And he speaks outside of the Packers locker room every Wednesday. Micah went on Thursday in that kind of vestibule right outside, between the tunnel and
made it easy.
The locker
You
room.
had a system for it,
We had a system when Brett Favre was the quarterback, when the quarterback would go into the podium and sit there and, everybody would be comfortable asking questions. Aaron would do it at his locker, and Jordan used to do it at his locker. Now he just does it outside. It's a little bit easier outside than inside. Nevertheless, yes. So it all depends. Everybody else, like Matthew Golden, may be available today, may be available tomorrow. All depends on when they're in their.
Like we request players for the Badgers, right? And I'm assuming it's a similar process for the Packers.
Nope.
No, it's not.
Nope.
Pro
It's
ranks are a little different than college.
Nope.
Today Matthew Golden will be available.
No,
right? Is that what they say?
No, it's the quarterback, and we had an understanding with Micah because of his stature in the league.
Yeah.
If Matthew Golden is at his locker, you can go up and ask Matthew Golden, for example, hey, you got a couple minutes? Or Edgerrin Cooper, you got a couple minutes? Or
got it.
Christian Watson, got a couple minutes?
Yeah.
And sometimes
Just
they do.
gotta pick them off.
Yeah, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's one that starts with one, and then everybody comes in for the scrum, if you will.
Yeah, same thing with the Brewers, too. It's
Yeah.
like if a guy's sitting there at his locker, ask him, hey, got a couple minutes and be able to talk to him. But it's not just, hey, like you got to be here or anything like I need specifically to talk to you. Like, hey,
It's entirely different. I'm obviously familiar with the, how they do it at Wisconsin. Entirely different.
Yeah.
Well, at Wisconsin, they can also they have some built-in excuses. Like,
they're college kids. Yeah.
Sorry, he's working on a group project. I just saw it. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's got
okay.
class coming up.
And those requirements aren't the same. It behooves college athletes to be good with the media because that will help them with NIL. But in the NFL, it is mandated because you don't have eyeballs on you. You don't have eyeballs on the game. That hurts your pocketbook and everybody else's.
Yeah, and we have had a professionalization of college athletics, but not quite that professional.
Yeah, there's still some differences.
Yeah, still a couple of major differences. Also, in Major League Baseball here, Brad Keller is leaving the Cubs. He's heading to the Philadelphia Phillies on a 2-year, $22 million deal. Adrian Hauser, old friend, also signed a 2-year, $22 million deal with the San Francisco Giants, where he rejoins Willie Adames. It's a team option for a 3rd year.
Well,
so Adrian Hauser, what?
Zach Manasian, too.
Oh, yes,
Right,
absolutely.
He's kind of important to the equation.
A little bit, yeah. He kind of knows a couple of things, but so Adrian Hauser gets $11 million per year. Freddie Peralta is still getting $8 million this next season, and everyone's like, "Oh, hey, maybe that's too much for that." No, I think when you see start pitchers like Adrian Hauser getting $11 million per, and you've got Freddie for $8 this year, I don't know how you can.
Well, I think they're going to try to sign him. I mean, or they're going to try to move him. One of the two. But yeah, he's due for a payday. But he also signed.
The Brewers are not going to pay him long term. But I'm
not.
saying trading him. Because paying Freddie is going to cost you $30 million per easy.
Yeah, if Hauser's getting, would you say 11?
11 million a year.
Yeah, that's the going rate.
Yeah,
but that's why the Brewers, they get pitchers that are young. They try to sign them to a Freddie Peralta type of deal that is, team friendly, but also gives him some. Listen, if Freddie Peralta was a washout years ago, and was still making $8 million, but also bounced out of the league because he was ineffective. Well, he's still making that $8 million. So it's a calculated risk. It's a calculated gamble on both sides. So it just worked out in the Brewers' favor this time, but they've had other contracts that haven't worked out for them.
Yeah. Aaron Ashby hasn't worked out quite as well yet, although
you can make the argument that the Christian Yelich contract hasn't worked out for the Brewers.
Yeah, there's certainly been that argument. A lot of people want to trade him, and it's like, well, Christian Yelich is not going anywhere.
Well, there are people out there that would say the Jackson Chourio contract hasn't worked out there, and they work at a different station and say he doesn't take enough walks and he should be dealt today. Trade him today if you can. Trade Jackson Chourio. He doesn't take enough walks.
God, I completely forgot about that. What a horrendous take.
Who said that? Is that Rust?
Simpson's
Homer.
character.
Oh, Homer?
Yeah.
I didn't want than that. No, I mean,
listen, well, he doesn't take enough walks.
I'm not pulling any. I don't pull any punches. I name names on this show. I'm sorry. I'm
that,
tired.
I just don't know where the line is.
I'm not going to dance around all this.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I love Homer. I've known Homer a long time. That is objectively a terrible take.
Yeah, that may be the worst take of the year. I don't know if we do a worst take of the year awards, but that one may win it.
Trade him now before he takes even less walks.
Something I expect that take from Winkler.
Yeah.
Well,
who's apparently
Winkler,
also leaving the
That's
industry.
Right. He's got like one more day and then it's over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same with Horvat.
Yeah, he's
leaving MGM.
They made some changes over there, I think.
Yeah.
So
still
well, everybody's going through it. We've been through it.
Yeah,
I mean,
we know more than anyone almost how much we're going through.
That's right.
Welcome to our reality.
Yeah. Hey, but yeah. So some movement there in MLB free agency. The Angels signed a couple of bullpen arms, Romano, Pomeranz, yeah.
Would you say the Hoskins contract worked out?
No,
I mean, I wouldn't say it worked out, but it also it was 2 years.
Low risk.
It was pretty low risk.
It was 2 years, and like he helped decently productive. He helped with leadership. He helped at being a veteran.
I have no problem with that contract. And production wise, at the beginning of 2025, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
When everyone else was slumping, he was helping carry that offense.
Yeah, he kept them afloat. And then you get the freak injury from the bad throw from Ortiz. Then he misses, a month, and then Andrew Vaughn just takes over. Then they're like, maybe we'll slow walk your return a little bit. Is what it felt like. And then he comes back and he essentially doesn't have a job, and he got Wally pipped.
Yeah. Zach and Sheboygan on the talking text line. Nick, is that a Clemson sweatshirt? Is it?
No.
Oh, okay. What is
Rippin' Tigers soccer sweatshirt from when I was in high school?
Gotcha.
I just responded to that at the same time.
Oh yeah, I see that. There you go. Well, I just want to answer these questions. I think
I appreciate we got a 1-year-old, a 1-year-old viewer. Zach's child is obsessed with watching us.
Oh, that's nice.
There you go. Hi.
Hey, Zach's child.
Hey.
Does he or she have a name that we could just say? That's nice. Dave's playing peekaboo.
Great. Now she's crying. Now the child is insufferable.
Man go.
Oh goodness.
Listen, we'll take consultants will always tell you need to skew your demographic younger.
Yes.
So if we have a 1-year-old that's watching, we're going to take that to the bosses and say, see, ain't nobody getting younger than D.N.D.
Exactly.
It's a young gentleman.
Young gentleman. Noah. Well, hi, Noah.
Hi, Noah.
Noah, he's trying to high five you. Here we go. Everybody high five to Noah.
High five, Noah.
Boom. There you go. Thanks, Noah.
That's right.
Love it.
What else you got, Dave?
Yeah, have we exhausted what's the quills in the quiver? As I like to say?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
We on the email list for UW Athletics from Patrick Herb, they just sent out a memo on the establishment of the creation of Badger Athlete Partners, an initiative designed to enhance support and streamline name, image, and likeness revenue generation for Badger student athletes. It's a partnership between Wisconsin Athletic Department and Learfield's Badger Sports Properties. And I asked, because I'm lazy, and I use Grok on X to summarize it. So essentially, 5 dedicated NIL positions focused on deal facilitation / management, content creation, and storytelling, which will maximize student athletes' earning potential and brand value via strategic partnerships. It'll consolidate existing NIL efforts under Badger Sports Properties with expanded staff for business development and activations, building on successful collaborations with brands like US Cellular, Exact Sciences, Target, and Quick Trip. So there's some movement in money and how it's going to start being generated for student athletes here at Wisconsin.
Going to have to be. I mean, this is the world that we live in right now, and you've got to examine whatever revenue streams that you can have. And you see what the transfer portal is, and you need to retain some of those players. I still think that what you're going to have are contracts that are multi-year contracts. Otherwise, the sport is going to be it has been last couple of years. It's been an absolute free-for-all. And it's been, all right, I'll play here for X amount of how long. And then after the regular season, I'm going to enter the transfer portal and miss the bowl game. What is the future of the bowl games? Well, the future of the bowl games is, I think, in jeopardy because you've got so many teams that are just saying, all right, well, we're not in the playoffs, so we're not going to expose our guys. And then half the team quits anyway because they want to enter the transfer portal and see what else is out there for them. Right now, college football specifically is in a real dire straits when it comes to trying to retain not only their players, but also, I think, retaining fans, because fans aren't coming to the stadium as much unless it's a blue blood program. They're not as interested. They're not as invested. College football did this to themselves. Let's be clear about this. They did this to themselves, but they've got to wrap their arms around what NIL is, how to generate more revenue, and then trying to retain these players. But also, listen, if you're going to be a professional, if you're going to be an adult, and these are young adults that are in college right now that are, taking the highest bidder every year, you're going to have to live up to the contracts that you sign. And, I saw, listen, obviously I follow a lot of USC athletics. They put out when their players are retained, such and such and so re-signs with the USC Trojans. I'm like, I never thought I'd see that in my life. These guys were already here.
Yeah.
These guys, and all they're doing is just
they've agreed to a new deal.
They're just staying, and they're not going in the portal. So I applaud Wisconsin for doing this. It's going to take more than just this, but I applaud them for opening up as many revenue streams as they possibly can have.
Yeah, and they're going to have to with the commitment they publicly made to Fickle to get more money into the football program. It's going to be necessary, and yeah, it's modern college football. So yeah, whatever they can do, whatever partners they can get, however they can get it in there, it's important. So until we see change, and that's where we saw Wisconsin try to put together that multi-year deal for Xavier Lucas, and then when he tries to transfer, it's like, no, we're going to hold you to this. And now they're kind of going through that whole court case thing. We'll see what ends up happening. It's going to be a landmark
case.
It's 100% going to be a landmark. We haven't seen the result yet.
Wisconsin didn't want to sue Miami.
No.
They didn't want to. Had to.
They had to. Because, yeah, you're trying to put in place these multi-year deals to keep this from being an every year thing, trying to re-sign your entire team on top of a new transfer class, on top of a new recruiting class. Like, you need to get some sort of multi-year security in place for some of these guys. So when you try and put that in, you got to find a way to enforce it. So they had to be the guinea pig. They had to be the team to put in for that landmark. And has there been any movement on that lately? No, I haven't heard anything.
Nick, have you heard anything?
No, because I don't think there will be any movement on it. I think it's just a Wild West right now. I think that Wisconsin, they've been involved in a lot of different stuff, right? So last year they had the Lucas situation. They had Forkerine and his injunction trying to get back out on the field. Then they were slapped on the wrist financially for some tampering stuff that Wisconsin had done via cell phone conversations. Greg Scruggs, former defensive line coach, was part of that. But yeah, I think it's all Wild West right now. I'm happy to hear Wisconsin put together some sort of framework for at least a message to the fans on how things are going to supposedly change with this Learfield initiative, this partnership that they have now officially put out there. Because I think all week long, every comment section on every player leaving in the portal, specifically Christian Allegro, is this where the added money is going? How do we not retain this guy? We're supposed to have more resources this year. How is it? So we'll see. Well, now we got to get a QB.
Right. Well, let's see. What does professional athletics have? What does professional football have? It's got salary cap, number one. It's got multi-year contracts, number two. The fact that coaches are leaving, I mean, they started it. The coaches leaving before the bowl game started. So the players are now jumping off board. College football is in a spot right now. Again, I cannot stress this enough. The NCAA created this mess, but this is a mess. This is the rules have to change. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to retain fans anymore. The older fans that are there, the ones that have been going to Camp Randall Stadium since 1975, you're probably going to retain them because it's just it's just so ingrained in them. But what do sports continually have to do? I talked about getting younger. I joked about little 1-year-old Noah a couple of minutes ago, trying to get younger, trying to get the demographic younger, but you're not grabbing kids anymore from the standpoint of making them fans anymore, either when they get to school or when they're growing up in Oconomowoc or growing up in Stoughton or growing up in Menasha or whatever the town is. There's one Division 1A program in the state of Wisconsin, and that's the one in Madison. Other state, whether you're a Michigan fan or a Michigan State fan, you're not grabbing these younger kids anymore because there's nobody that they can identify with anymore. That's the real trouble. It's like this train that's moving at 5 miles an hour, and you've got a damsel in distress 10 miles down the road. There's no way to stop the train. It's not moving very fast, but boy, oh boy, when it gets there, it's going to be a problem. And this is the world that we're living in right now, specifically in college football, because that's the engine that drives the bus. And coaches leaving early is a problem before bowl games. Players now leaving before bowl games. Entire teams not going to bowl games. It's all a problem. How do you fix it? It's not going to be easy. It has to be done, though, because the rules have been broken all over the place. You're going to have to change enrollment. You're going to have to change the transfer portal. You're going to have multi-year contracts. If this is going to be a professional sport, if this is going to be a professional endeavor, and these kids are now getting paid, so there are expectations when you do take that paycheck that you have to act like a professional and be a professional. This is the world that we now live in, or at least have to start living in and have to start wrapping our minds around it. Otherwise, there's not going to be a college football that's worth watching for anybody else if you're not Ohio State or Penn State or Alabama or Oregon or just the blue blood programs that win year after year after year. It's a problem.
Well done, Doug. Attaboy. Tell us how you really feel. Love it.
Yeah.
You think it's easy being able to buy whatever you want?
Some of these programs, right? I mean, Penn State, it didn't work out for them. They could do whatever they want, and they didn't make it work this year. But
I'm just talking about blue bloods that, Michigan didn't. Michigan's going through it right now, but Michigan's still there.
Let me tell you, they're going through it because of their own
mistakes.
Well, yeah. Sure.
No matter what, those programs, their floor is infinitely higher than programs without money. I mean, even in a down year, it felt like, Penn State, they're going to be fine.
I mean, they flushed their coach without any guarantees of not having to pay. Now they only have to pay about 9 of James Franklin's buyout, but they were on the hook for almost 50 of it before he got the job at Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like, if there was a cheating
they can
scandal
afford to
here,
do that.
And I'm not going to put names on it. Let's just say hypothetically, the head football coach at Wisconsin, there's no recovering. If they went through what Michigan is going through, Wisconsin would not recover. And I feel like Michigan will be just fine.
Well, I think that money can change everything, though. You look at Indiana. Now, they didn't go through the scandal that, Michigan is going through.
They just
right
went
now.
through being terrible for 50 years.
Right. Exactly.
And
you know what solved it? Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash.
I think it's a fair point. I do think that first and foremost, the coach solved it. And then the resources paired with the coach made it exponentially better. I think he excelled at James Madison. I can't imagine James Madison was a giant money making or money receiving program.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. But now they're a playoff team.
And now
they're good.
Cignetti is making $11 million a year.
And their other coach got hired at UCLA, right? Their replacement for Cignetti is now UCLA's head coach. But it starts with the coach, and then it ends up with the resources. And I'm still under the belief that the Badgers have the coach.
Well, I don't think that they were going to do any better considering all the movement that we saw this offseason, or actually during the season, more specifically. So
I think he's the right guy. I just think you need to pair him with, great resources.
I think you need to pair him with better, and maybe that they've figured out the offensive staff. Jeff Grimes seems to be more in tune to what Wisconsin football is than Phil Longo ever was.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. But you need more resources, and you need to have a quarterback that's not your fourth string guy.
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
would help. And I think you need to have a ceremonial burning of the team vest. I think you just need to permanently get rid of that, put it up in smoke, and say we are done with it.
Yep.
I think that's what's really going to get this team to turn the corner.
By the way, that black hoodie that he had on with the red, that was a sharp look. I need to
That
find
was a great hoodie.
I want one of those.
Go with that look, Luke.
I need to send.
He wears the hoodie over the vest. So,
well, the vest still needs to be burned.
Still get rid of it.
To Dave's point.
Yeah.
You got it's just ceremonially burning that stupid thing.
Yeah. Burn it, bury it, something. Get rid of it.
The black hoodie, that's a good look. It's
yes.
I think it works.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. It's D.N.D. Here on the Game Radio Network. Coming up, Matt LaFleur from the podium will get his thoughts prior to today's kind of practice. It's more of a walkthrough practice than it is anything else for two reasons. It's a short week, number one. Number two, they don't have that many healthy bodies right now. Also, we'll hear from Greg Garth later on in the show. And from Survivor, Andrea Belke's coming into the studio in the next hour of the program. If you've got any Survivor questions, Survivor 50 is coming up. The finale, Survivor 49, is tonight. Might be delayed by the presidential address, but you'll still see that
everywhere but the West Coast. Yes, Pacific time will stay on schedule. So I would stay off of X and social media if you're trying not to have it spoiled.
That's what I always do every year. If I can't watch the finale, I just stay. You got to stay off social media. I still watch the show. I've never missed an episode. There's 500 episodes. I've never missed one.
Wow.
So that's I'm a fan.
That.
Just peeling the onion back just a little bit. All right, Matt LaFleur's coming up straight ahead. It's D&D, Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
Scream down the boulevard. Girls comb their hairs in rearview mirrors, and the boys try to look so tough.
You are listening to D&D with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Baby, right.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
All the land on the run. Land on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single.
Everybody says she's looking good. And the lady knows it's understood.
In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you own. You might use it if you feel better when you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In February of 77, 60s band leader Manfred Mann has a new band and scores a U.S. #1 hit with a cover of Bruce Springsteen's song Blinded by the Light. In March, Foreigner released their debut album. It goes to number 4 in the U.S., driven by 2 top 10 singles, Cold as Ice and Feels Like the First Time. Philadelphia Blue-Eyed Soul duo Hall & Oates have their first U.S. #1 with Rich Girl from their 5th album, Bigger Than the Both of Us. Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors is released. It's their second #1 album in a row in the U.S., dominating the charts at #1 for 31 weeks. It spawns 4 top 10 singles, including the #1 Dreams.
When the rain washes you clean, you know.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In September, the Isley Brothers have a #1 album, The Heat Is On, driven by the #4 single, Fight the Power. Alive is a 2-record live album that goes to number 9 for Kiss. They released the single Rock and Roll All Night, which goes to number 12. David Bowie switches to Philly Soul on the LP Young Americans, featuring the #1 single Fame, which was co-written by John Lennon. UK rock band Foghat have a top 20 hit with Slow Ride from the album Fool for the City. In October of 75, Pink Floyd released their follow-up to Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here goes to #1 in the US and the UK.
What have we found? Same old fear. Wish you were here.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rod Stewart to reflect on how supportive his family was from the very beginning.
To become a singer, a rock singer in the 60s, it was uncharted territory. And nobody knew how long it was going to last. I think my dad was secretly a little worried about my future. Apparently my elder brother told me once that he would say, I haven't said anything to little Roddy, but I'm a bit worried about his future, what he's going to be doing. But it's so important. I mean, they all encouraged me. Both my brothers chipped in to help me buy a good acoustic guitar. So I'm deeply indebted to them.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Rod Stewart and all your favorite artists.
It's D.N.D. on this Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. Happy birthday, Mom.
There we go. Got to say that multiple times.
Yeah.
Gotta get
Happy
that out
birthday,
there.
Doug's mom.
There we go.
She doesn't listen.
No?
Is she in town?
Yes, she is.
That's nice.
It is.
There we
nice. They come back for Christmas, and then as soon as Christmas is over, we out.
Yeah.
Gone.
We're heading to Florida.
Yeah.
It's much
Talk to you
nicer
in
down
April.
there.
It
There's
is.
palm trees.
It is. My mother hasn't listened to me on the radio probably in 6 years.
Oh, wow.
I was on a station that she used to listen to, and then once I wasn't working at that station anymore, it's like, so what station you want again? How can I find you?
I
Never found it.
gosh, I love the guy.
97.3. Yeah.
Mike has a brother-in-law who always introduces him as the guy who's on ESPN to everybody. Everybody. And Mike's like, no,
Again,
I'm not.
Nope.
That's never worked for ESPN.
You've heard him. He's on the radio. He's on ESPN. No,
Nope.
wrong.
No.
No.
I think I got family members who say the same thing. They're like, you're at ESPN, right? I'm like,
Nope.
no,
Not even close.
no.
I mean,
not quite.
we do sports. They do
Close,
sports.
but
Yeah.
not.
It does
really.
get confusing, right? Like when I was
Well,
being
you think
hired
sports
here.
media, you think,
Right. When people ask me, hey, I got a radio job. I'm going to get it when I graduate. I'm going to start. And they're like, oh, where is it? I'm like, with Fox Sports Radio. And they're like, what? Yeah, Fox Sports Radio, Fox Sports 1070.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then everyone's like, oh, you work for no, it's technically just a labeling. It's iHeart, and that's just the imagery they use. It's kind of confusing.
It is.
Yeah.
It's no longer that here. It's 1070 the game. It's just at one point I'm staring at it, the giant Fox Sports logo.
Listen, I don't know what every once in a while we change things. We've got 920 in Milwaukee. That's Fox Sports 920 right now. It used to be the big 920. 1070 used to be the big 1070. Then it was, like you said,
Fox Sports
1070. Now it's 1070 the game. I can't keep up.
And at one point,
we just need to get new tumblers, and new koozies.
Right, that'll
every
solve
time,
everything.
new
And at
logos
one point-
every time we do the rebrand.
this was here in Madison, ESPN, but it's not. So.
Yeah, affiliations change. Let's see. But I do love those old school radio stations. Like the only family member that actually listens to me on any consistent basis, and it's so tangentially family, it is my sister-in-law's aunt. Listens to me do morning sports on 1310 WIBA in Madison.
Oh,
that's
okay.
huge.
So, but that's one of those old school radio stations. That's our, that's our Packer
It's a
station. That's our
classic,
Badger
yeah.
station. in Madison.
A heritage radio station.
Thank you. That's a good, Heritage radio station's been similar format for a long, long time. It's been on the air for now over 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of those great classic American heritage radio stations. So I'm proud to be part of Madison in the Morning every day.
Absolutely.
Along with Robin and Sean.
Exactly.
And Katie. Can't forget Katie.
Of course. Can't forget Katie. The whole squad over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Time now. Speaking of the squad, that Matt LaFleur is in charge of one, as depleted as his squad is. Practice has not yet started. Matt LaFleur met with reporters a short time ago, and here are his comments from earlier today. All right, that's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur. We'll wrap up hour number 2 of D.N.D. here on the Game Radio Network after this. Stay with us.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D. will be back in just a moment.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In June of 78, Darkness on the Edge of Town is released. Bruce Springsteen's follow-up to his breakthrough album, Born to Run. The album charts at number 5.
In the darkness on the edge of town. In the darkness on the edge of town.
Boston-based band The Cars released their debut album. It goes to number 18. It features the singles Just What I Needed and My Best Friend's Girl.
She's my best friend's girl. But you used to be mine.
In July of 78, the Rolling Stones released Some Girls in the U.S. The album and the single Miss You both hit number 1. In August of 78, Boston released their sophomore album, Don't Look Back. The album goes to number 1 in the U.S., selling 4 million copies in its first month.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up.
Here are the top Fleetwood Mac songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Don't Stop.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop using me. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone.
Number 2, Dreams. Number 1, Go Your Own Way.
You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another day.
Hear more from Fleetwood Mac and similar artists now. Search for Fleetwood Mac on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Aretha Franklin songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Number 2, Freeway of Love. Number 1, Respect. Hear more from Aretha Franklin and similar artists now. Search for Aretha Franklin on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Here are the top Stevie Wonder songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Part-Time Lover.
If I'm with friends and we should meet, just pass me by, don't even speak. Know the word is sweet when part-time lovers.
Number 2, Isn't She Lovely?
Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she precious? That's not 1 minute. Oh.
Number 1, Superstition.
Very superstitious. weather started fall. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass.
Hear more from Stevie Wonder and similar artists now. Search for Stevie Wonder on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
All right, coming up in the next hour of the program from Survivor, I got her 22, 26, and 34 were the seasons that she played.
Okay.
Survivor 49, the finale is tonight. She's got an event in downtown Milwaukee at the Wicked Hop in the 3rd Ward. That's where the Milwaukee Survivor community will come together. She's done a couple of events, at least one event in Madison. I don't know if she's done more than one event in Madison, but Andrea Belke will join us in studio in about 20 minutes or so. Matt LaFleur, I don't know if you took the over or the under. He's a little long-winded today.
A little bit. The over definitely hit.
So I don't know if we're going to have a Friday over-under because of the short week or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've got to look at their media.
Friday
schedule.
becomes Saturday. He
It
doesn't
does.
typically speak on Saturday.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
So it's tomorrow then the Friday.
perhaps. Maybe tomorrow is the injury update because they haven't really had many full-on practices because they don't have that many full-on players that are able to practice. Dave's got an update coming up. Then Andrea, stay with us on the game.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
California's Creedence Clearwater Revival released their debut LP, which contains the number 11 single, Susie Q. And in August, American band Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit in the UK with Moni Moni. It goes to number 8 in the US. And the Doors have their first number 1 album and their second and last number 1 single with Hello, I Love You.
When she moves, my brain screams out this song.
In November of 68, Van Morrison releases his second solo album, Astral Weeks, and Joe Cocker has a UK number 1 with his cover of the Beatles with A Little Help from My Friends.
Don't you know I'm gonna make you an
And in December, Motown holds the top spot with number 1 hits from Marvin Gaye, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and the Supremes with Love Child. The Beatles released their first single on their own Apple label, Hey Jude, back with Revolution. The over 7-minute song went to number 1 in the US and the UK.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In June of 77, Ram Jam have a top 20 U.S. hit single with the cover of Lead Belly's song Black Betty. Chicago area rock band Styx have a U.S. top 10 album Grand Illusion, including the top 10 single Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
In July of 77, the Grateful Dead veered towards progressive rock, adding strings, horn, and a choir on their ninth studio album, Terrapin Station. In August of 77, the King dies. Elvis Presley's found dead in his home in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 42. Detroit rock vocalist Iggy Pop releases his second solo album, Lust for Life. It's his second collaboration with David Bowie. New York's Billy Joel releases his fifth album, The Stranger. It goes to number 2 in the U.S., with the single Just the Way You Are rising to number 3.
I want you just the way you are.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
Don't keep me waiting here. Lead me to
The Beatles released the Phil Spector-produced album Let It Be. It generates 3 #1 hits, Get Back, Let It Be, and their final #1, The Long and Winding Road. The Kinks song Lola, about a romantic encounter with a transvestite, makes #2 UK and #9 US. In July, the Stooges released their second album on Elektra Records, Fun House, and British band Mungo Jerry are #1 in the UK, #3 in the US with the single In the Summertime.
Have a drink, have a drive, go out and see what you can find.
In August, Eric Clapton releases his first solo album and scores a top 20 hit with his cover of J.J. Cale's After Midnight. Neil Diamond scores his first #1 with Cracklin' Rosie. September of 1970, Neil Young has a top 10 album with After the Gold Rush. War, an anti-war protest song by Edwin Starr, tops the charts.
What is it good for? You tell me. Say it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Carlos Santana to talk about keeping his sound real.
Yeah, we learned that from Buddy Guy, and we learned that from Albert King and Freddie King and B.B. King, all of the Kings, that the way you stand, like Rambo in the old days when he was going to level a town, you got to stand like you mean it, and then you're going to get a sound because it comes from your limbs, it comes from your fingers, and it comes from your vitals. It's a sound that is beyond pedals again, It might enhance a little bit, but you don't want to use too many pedals because it's like putting too much makeup, then you can't really see your face, and then you start looking like Bozo the Clown or Ronald McDonald, You don't want to look like that. Because God gave you your own identity, your own unique individuality of sound. Why would you want to mask that,
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Carlos Santana and all your favorite artists.
Listen to us live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app and watch our shows each weekday on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We are the Game.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Well, we got new NBA Cup champions. The Knicks won last night, 124-113 over the Spurs. Tyler Kolek, Marquette grad, 14 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. Great game for him. Helps the Knicks get their first championship of the NBA Cup in 50 years.
52 years.
52
it's
years.
the first time that they have hoisted a trophy
of any kind.
57 years.
That's 52.
80 years it feels. They are,
It feels like it.
It's been 84 years since Titanic sank.
Yes. Now,
goodness gracious.
That old lady's, she gone.
Yeah, she is. Also, I mean, how rude of her to, hold the heart to see the entire time. The thing that he'd been looking for was so nice to bring you out there for, then you just drop it.
Yep.
At the end. Horrible.
Well, blame James Cameron. He wrote it.
Yeah, come on. Anyways, the Dolphins.
It wasn't a documentary. We know how it ended, but it wasn't,
It was not. The Dolphins have benched Tua Tagovailoa. They're going with Quinn Ewers at quarterback, 7th rounder out of Texas last year. So Ewers, I mean, I remember when he was coming out, everyone's like, oh, well, he, could maybe stay for another year of college eligibility. He could transfer potentially. And he's like, nah, I'm just going to go pro because they clearly want to go with Arch Manning down there in Texas. And I can't hold him off much longer. And I just kind of want to.
He could have, in today's game, he could have just transferred and probably gotten a big payday somewhere else.
Yeah. Maybe improved a bit more, stock with so many interceptions because he had quite a few of those for Texas.
I think his stock had gone backwards to a degree that he thought, if I don't go now and I have another poor season, I don't have an NFL future.
So, yeah, that's fair. And now we'll see what he can do over these final 3 games for Miami as he's the starting quarterback there.
I must have had some level of intuition on him in particular in my dynasty fantasy league. I was just like, you know what? My season's over. Let me see if I can just grab some young quarterbacks. Maybe they get a chance next year. I said, might as well pick up Quinn Ewers. Hour later, bing, there it is. Quinn Ewers is starting quarterback.
There you go. What does he know?
I know.
What does he know? How does he do it? This is how you end up in the playoffs in 6 or 7 leagues, isn't it?
Yeah,
well,
that's right.
He lives it though too. I mean, this is one of the things we try to unpeel the onion on some of you guys, and that's one of the things that we've unpeeled about Nick in the last week or so is that he is a fan. I mean, we knew. I mean, he works for RotoWire. So, I mean, the evidence was kind of staring us in the face,
right?
But this is his thing.
That's right.
Everybody's got a thing.
No,
that's
right.
Absolutely. And my thing is the Brewers signing guys to minor league deals because that's right. We got another one, baby. The Brewers have signed Gerson Garabito to a minor league deal with an invite to spring training.
All right.
He's a 30-year-old reliever.
Make your October plans now. It almost reminds me of like when Luke Fickell first got to Wisconsin and they put out those social media tweets that said, we got him. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. The bat signal that Fickell sent out. But yeah, Garabito spent last year a little bit with the Rangers and was released and went to South Korea, played in the KBO for a little bit, did decently well apparently. But now he comes back stateside and he'll be with the Brewers in spring training. And I'm imagining spending most of the year in AAA Nashville. But hey, I mean, spots can be earned in that bullpen there. So if he does well, we'll see if we see him at some point next season. Also, in the NHL, we have some college football and NHL crossover as Nick Saban has bought a minority ownership stake in the Nashville Predators.
Oh, okay. So there's, if you really want to go tangential as far as
he part owns the Milwaukee Admirals.
Well, no, he doesn't.
No.
They are in
he's
Harrisburg.
loosely connected now.
Yes,
loosely connected.
That's why I said tangential, which same thing. Loosely connected. He touches Wisconsin in a very abstract way.
Yes,
but if he's buying part of the Nashville Predators, I mean, if you got all that money burning a hole in your pocket, might as well do something with it.
Yeah, might as well. So, and that's a team that really could kind of use a little bit of a Nick Saban touch.
Can he coach hockey? Because that team is wretched this year.
I mean, I'm certain he can give them a pep talk, something like that to try and get them fired up. I don't know if he can coach them on the X's and O's of hockey, but
you never know.
Yeah, he says I still possess a competitive nature and a great passion for sports. So very excited to
and we now that college football season, most of college football game day is over. One of the things that I didn't think he was going to be, maybe I've said this on the air before, I'm not sure. He's great on television. I didn't think he'd be good at all. I didn't think he'd be good in that role at all. He's fantastic on television.
Yeah. Belichick was good too. That was a surprise.
Yeah, he should have stayed there.
Yeah, maybe he should have.
He was very likable. I mean, that was the problem.
Yeah. And then Jordan got her mitts on him.
Yeah.
She's doing well. I think her cheer competition went well over the weekend.
Good for her.
He looked like a glowing grandfather, in the images with her.
Which one is your granddaughter?
Yeah.
Well, about that.
Yeah. Actually, that's
which one's your daughter?
Yeah.
Well,
then he'll start layering her up.
Great granddaughter? No.
Hey, Bill, how about you actually hit the recruiting trail for some football players?
They did well this year, and they had a ton of 3-stars, but North Carolina did pretty well this year in their rankings. I think they were top 25.
Yeah, maybe, but certainly sounds like they did better than Penn State. Speaking of college football, we got some barn burners today. The Staff DNA Cure Bowl is this afternoon.
Damn right.
Between Old Dominion and South Florida.
Damn.
And then tonight.
You know what? When those two teams get together, you just throw out the records.
You do. And then, just wait, Doug, tonight, the 68 Ventures Bowl between the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns and the Delaware Blue Hens. That's going to be a barn burner.
At least there are teams that want to go to these bowl games. I don't know how many eyeballs are going to be on it. They're good for the communities. This is me sticking up for the little guy in college football right now. These tiny bowl games that nobody watches, that nobody gives a rip about, you know who does? The kids that are playing in them, because they're not getting the $1 million paydays. So, yes, for Old Dominion in South Florida today in the Staff DNA Cure Bowl.
Yes.
Okay. And then the Ventures Bowl between Louisiana and Delaware. I mean, at least they want to be there. So I give them credit for that. And we had one last night, I think, too, didn't we? We had one game.
Yeah, it was Jack State, I thought.
Jacksonville
won.
Yeah. So Troy and Jacksonville State wins 17-13 in the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl.
Well, that's nice. Way to salute harder, Jack State. Troy didn't salute as hard.
Maybe they should have.
Yeah. Rich Rod, head coach at Jack State. So,
yeah, I liked it when Troy played James Madison. It was just like two dudes playing against each other. It's James Madison over here taking on some dude named Troy.
Yeah.
In their conference championship game. It's Troy against James.
Yeah.
Former coach. Excuse me. Former coach. Rich Rod was at Jack State. Now he's at West Virginia. And to provide an update to what I said about North Carolina, 247 has them as the 17th ranked class this year in all college football.
Maybe they could have been top 10 if Belichick wasn't
it's definitely possible.
Cheer
and it's
competition.
interesting because they have the second most total commitments. 39 total players have committed for the class of 2026. 13 4-stars, 26 3-stars. And to kind of go full circle on this thing, number one, most in total players committed, West Virginia with 10 more, 49 commitments, 3 4-stars, including Amari Latimer, 45 3-stars. And then
it's called a rebuild.
1 2-star, maybe. It's not even listed. They don't even list 2 stars in the expanded view. So yeah, Belichick at least is getting kids to sign up. I'm sure people are excited by the fact that they're going to be coached by Bill Belichick. So I guess that helps.
Yeah, I guess so. Or maybe they
all get to meet Jordan.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, they get to meet Jordan. But,
Jordan.
You keep hammering that Don part. I mean,
nice.
Well, yeah, because it's spelled O-N instead of A-N.
Well, yeah.
Old Dominion will be without their quarterback tonight too, Colton Joseph, who's a very popular transfer portal guy.
So they got to go with their backup for the bowl game.
Yeah.
Tough. Give me all the money on USF.
Who knows if their quarterback's playing?
USF favored by 4. Well, let's see. Yeah, it looks like season.
They will not have their starting quarterback. Byram Brown is also not playing for USF.
Oh my goodness. Well, so much for the whole. This is great for these kids to get one chance to play here.
Well, they're all trying to enter the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's all about the portal.
Yeah. Everything's all about the portal. It's all we care about. Portal.
Well, if they do,
that's all they care about.
Have
it seems sometimes.
Upperclassmen,
Show me the money.
Backup. You know what I mean? Like Chase Wolf was a starter in a bowl game. I never was a starter ever again.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that. Let's see. We got a new addition here in Major League free agency. Luke Weaver is going from the New York Yankees to the New York Mets.
Well, he doesn't have to move. That's nice for him.
On a 2-year deal. So the Mets are just lining up former Yankee. I mean, they got Devin Williams. Now they're getting Luke Weaver. I'm sure David Stearns has some sort of master plan over there going on with the Mets, but I really don't know what it is. Like he is just completely remaking like that whole thing.
And it's like Soto. It all goes to Juan Soto and Lindor.
Yeah, Juan Soto and Lindor. Then it's like, okay, now let's pay $11 million a year for Luke Weaver in the bullpen just because we can. Like, oh, okay, you've got $1 billion relievers. What are you going to do for your rotation now? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does David Stearns know?
I don't know. During the last couple of years of his tenure here in Milwaukee, I did start to question a few of his decisions.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's doing in New York right now. I know
maybe that burnout really got to him.
Maybe. I mean, that's what he said.
Yeah.
I get it. You know, you go 100 miles an hour, you can only go for so long. So he took that year sort of sabbatical, kind of sabbatical, a little bit of a sabbatical.
Yeah, took the step back.
Roundabout sabbatical.
Yeah. I took the step back, and then it's like, okay, I'll let Matt Arnold take over, and then I'm just going to head over here to the Mets. And, you know, it's like you can take Stearns out of Milwaukee, but you can't take the Milwaukee out of David Stearns.
Is that how that works?
I think so.
The moves they've made in the last couple of years haven't worked. So, I mean, maybe
and then like all the big money guys, and it's just kind of like, oh, yeah, spend all this money for these guys. And he's like, I don't feel comfortable going long term for some of these players when it's like, typically the big market teams like New York would be the ones most willing to go however long on the contract because they can afford it if it goes sideways. They can still be fine. They can still replace bad decisions. Like when the Dodgers spent $72 million on Tanner Scott to be their closer, and then he stunk. So they're like, you know what? We're just not going to pitch him in the playoffs, still win the World Series anyways. And then we're just going to spend another $70 million on Edwin Diaz just because we can.
Yeah.
That's what the Mets were expecting.
I think that's how that went. That's how that went.
That's exactly how that went. And then the Mets fans are all thinking that they're going to get the same thing with David Stearns. And David Stearns is like, nah.
Where are they going to play these guys? Like,
that's a great
Lindor, Semien, Jorge Polanco. I mean, Polanco just a DH at this point.
Well, Polanco is getting moved to first base, which he has never really played before. So that was
like 4'8".
Please listen. It's easy to play first base. Tell him, Wash.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard. Well, and then the great part, because I remember seeing Will Salmon tweet this out there about how it's like, David Stearns did this before in Milwaukee when he signed Gold Glover Colton Wong at second base and moved Keston Hiura to first base.
How'd that work out?
I'm like, that didn't go well, Will. That went horribly wrong.
But he's got experience doing something close to that.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't work.
Even though the experience went incredibly poorly for the guy going to first base. Oh, my goodness. But they got Polanco going to first base, most likely. They're probably going to have Semien at second base. Lindor's getting all the money. He's going to be staying at short. But it is just, kind of a mess that they got over there right now. And then their rotation, they don't entirely know, like they want to go for something higher ceiling, but they haven't done anything there. So they just instead have loaded up on non-optionable relievers.
Yeah.
They've got all these experienced veteran guys. They've got one guy currently in their bullpen that can be optioned. And I don't know. I remember David Stearns loving flipping through bullpen options consistently. Every 5 days there was a new reliever up, and they have zero flexibility with that group at this point.
Yeah.
So
good times.
Good times.
Let's see. Phil in Merrimack writes, throw out the records because no one knows them when we were talking about that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Can you name anything about the Delaware Blue Hens? Exactly.
They're in Delaware.
You nailed that one right on the head, didn't you?
Yep. That's about it.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. We're going to change gears. Survivor 49's season, not series finale, good grief. Season finale is tonight. They're going to do another season. They're going to do season 50. It's going to be a lot of returning players, not including our next guest. She is in the building. I'm going to go grab her. If you've got any questions about Survivor 40, if you're a fan of the show, were you a fan of the show? Are you not a fan of the show anymore and would like to know why? She's here to answer all questions about reality TV. She's doing a bunch of other stuff around town as well, including a Survivor event tonight in Milwaukee at the Wicked Hop. But she's also a podcaster. She's got the Cabin podcast. She's on Discover Wisconsin. She's on the Morning Blend on TMJ4. She is a woman of many talents, and she's going to join us next. Somehow, I have convinced her to come in and say hello to us. So we're going to do that next.
Very cool.
On the other side. Stay with us. It's D.N.D. on the game.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D. will be back in just a moment. Micah Parsons is out for the season.
And Micah Parsons is down. He was chasing the quarterback. Parsons battling McGlinchey, beat him as he came across, and then just pulled up. Left knee. Micah Parsons. Oh, my goodness.
Parsons' injury, a non-contact injury, and he is so sudden and so explosive. He stops, and the knee joint probably just kept going.
Yeah.
Where do the Packers go from here?
I told the guys nobody's going to feel sorry for us, and we got to rally around one another, and everybody's going to have to elevate their play.
We're talking about what's next for the Pack with the best analysis and the best guests.
The voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrivee, joining us.
It's on to Chicago now. There's not much you can do about the Denver game. You hope to get some of these guys back. Again, I hope Zach Tom can play. He's crucial. But, the players I mentioned, they're all blue chip players that went out. And Evan Williams, another guy that underrated. I mean, they need him in that secondary. Micah Parsons, like you said, that changes everything. Christian Watson, I mean, maybe Matthew Golden can pick up the slack downfield, but again, he's just a rookie, and I thought he stepped up and played really well yesterday. He's got the best hands on this team. Yep. All right, he does. And I think Matthew Golden is a guy in this last month of the season, we were really hopefully going to see what he can bring to the party because I think he's got a lot to offer.
On your home for the best Packers coverage, The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
Born to be wild.
In January of 1968, Steppenwolf released their debut album, including the single Born to be Wild, which charts at number 2 in the U.S. Johnny Cash records 2 live shows at California's Folsom Prison, along with June Carter and Carl Perkins. Also in January, the Beatles are number 1 with Hello Goodbye. In London, they launched their own company, Applecore, with a store, a recording studio, and record label. February of 68, Pink Floyd lead singer Syd Barrett is checked into a psychiatric hospital and the band replaces him with David Gilmour. The Beatles, Donovan, Mia Farrow, and others travel to India to study transcendental meditation with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And Bill Graham opens the Fillmore East concert venue in an abandoned New York City theater. April of 1968, the musical Hair opens on Broadway for the first of 1,750 performances. It would spawn several top 40 hits, including Aquarius, Good Morning Starshine, and Hair. Simon and Garfunkel released their album Bookends, which goes to number 1 in the US and the UK. The single Mrs. Robinson would go to number 1 in June, thanks to the movie The Graduate.
God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In January of 1978, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack is released featuring the music of the Bee Gees. It hits number 1 in the U.S. for more than 6 months. An amazing 18 weeks at number 1 in the UK, it becomes the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. In February of 78, Pasadena, California hard rock band Van Halen released their self-titled debut album. It hits number 19 on the charts. Their cover of The Kinks' You Really Got Me cracks the top 40 at number 36. In March, the Patti Smith Group released their third album, Easter. It goes to number 20. Their single, Because the Night, goes to number 13. It was co-written with Bruce Springsteen. In May of 78, Detroit rock singer Bob Seger releases his 10th album, Stranger in Town. It goes to number 4 in the U.S., yielding 3 top 20 singles, including Still the Same, which also goes to number 4.
Are you still the same?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978, coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Peter Gabriel, discussing how he felt on stage as a member of Genesis.
I mean, I felt always I was on this little lonely island sometimes between the audience and the band, because they would look at the singer and expect him to translate sometimes. I think for most of my time with Genesis, it was a bit like that.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Peter Gabriel and all your favorite artists.
Without the soul, not million. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I'm a survivor.
Coming up tonight, starting at 7 o'clock on CBS, the season 49 finale of Survivor. We got our own Survivor in studio. She played Survivor 22, Redemption Island, Survivor 26, Survivor 34. I have the notes in front of me. I keep forgetting what exactly the numbers of the seasons were, because we're on 49 for crying out loud. Andrea Belke joining us in studio.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The numbers, people are always like, which ones were you on? I'm like, I can rattle off the numbers, but I don't think you're going to know those off the top of your head. I mean, the super fans would.
The super fans would. So there's, I'm a fan, as you know, of the show. I've never missed an episode. But then there's the next level of Survivor super fan. I mean, these folks, they are in it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
come to your events dressed up. We'll get to the event at Wicked Up coming up. They come ready to go.
I mean, they know my seasons better than I do because I watched it when it was airing and then I never went back and rewatched. It's just too weird for me. And recently I actually did a podcast and I told a story on it. And that clip was posted and a fan came on the clip and said, that's not what happened. You won that challenge when you did this. And I go, oh, whoops. I'm like, I was just like blatantly telling lies. I was like, yeah, I won this challenge and I got the chocolate cake. And they're like, no, Grant won that challenge and got the chocolate cake. I'm like, oh.
Did you participate in the chocolate cake? Did he choose you for the chocolate cake?
Yeah, he chose me. And that was like kind of a popular meme at the time, 15 years ago. It was just me with this chocolate cake all over my face. Because on Survivor, when you win a food reward, you put it over your face so you can save it till later.
Oh, I never knew that. I never knew that secret.
Yeah, because you'll win a challenge and then you'll get a chocolate cake and then Jeff will say, you have 1 minute to eat as much cake as possible. So you put food on your face to save it for later.
The talk and text line is open to anyone if they've got any questions. Keep it respectful, please. If it's not respectful, it doesn't get read. 877-794-1973. Red Hot Tim Knott writes, craziest thing that happens on the island off camera.
Oh, the craziest thing off camera. I don't know. I mean, one time everyone's kind of losing their mind. One time I couldn't open up a coconut, but I think I was just having like a kind of like a mental break. And I went like running into the jungle and was like hiding from production. And I was like, because I couldn't open this coconut and they were filming me and I just was like spiraling.
Okay.
And then I was like hiding in the jungle from like the producer. And I'm like, oh my, they're going to kick me off the show. Like
For having a meltdown?
Oh yeah.
For not being able to crack open a coconut?
I mean, you're not supposed to hide from the cameras.
Oh God.
Like it kind of broke that weird wall. But yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, you're just so bored. You're all like telling crazy stories and
about winning chocolate cake.
Yeah.
I'm a little lost on that, but I'm coming around to it. I'm figuring it out as we go. Doug is certainly a super fan. I have not really ever gotten into Survivor, but I do know Jeff, and I had a classmate at UW-Madison who was family friends with Jeff. What is he like? Is he as nice as he appears at times, or is he maybe now at this point become entitled, having been the face of that for 20 plus years?
I mean, look, I am never going to speak poorly of Jeff, but I will say, I mean, I think people think like, oh yeah, like if I met Jeff, we're just going to go crack open a beer and sit on the couch and hang. I'm like, he's kind of like all business, you know, like he's in, he's out.
Okay.
But I've interviewed him a lot and I like him. I think he is so good. Like being a TV host myself and watching him out there. I mean, he did everything. It was like one take. You see him. A good Jeff story that I haven't like told a lot is because I kind of like forgot that this was real. But in my first season, before we went out on the island, Jeff had us kind of in a circle in this like parking lot, kind of like parking lot area in the jungle. It was weird. And this was before we could talk to each other. It was before we started playing. And he came out, had us all in a circle, and he came out with a boombox. And he went into the middle of the circle and he turned on Eminem's Lose Yourself.
Okay.
Lose yourself in the moment. You know, then he started rapping the entire song. And we all were like, okay. And we're like kind of dancing.
Probst?
Yes. He was trying to fire us up.
Okay.
Because the season before mine, 2 people quit. And so their whole thing was like, you got to dig deep, you know, and he rapped the entire Eminem song. And it was like, we were not sure what to make of it, but
I don't know what to make of it hearing the story.
I had to ask some of my castmates, do you remember this? Did this really happen? Or did I kind of like hallucinate and make this up? And they said, no, that happened. It was crazy. Yeah. But no, he's awesome. I mean, he's awesome. Around him, he's very intense. And when you're at tribal council, and basically tribal council, you know, they're questioning you to see like who's going to get voted off. And you don't want to give up too much information.
Sure.
But he'll tell you, like when the cameras aren't rolling, he'll say, you got to give me something good or I'll never ask you a question at tribal council. So you want to impress him. But yeah, you really got to be on your game.
So I've noticed like for the last couple of seasons, I know like the whole thing's been in Fiji, in the islands there, but it's kind of like bounced around before. Where was your favorite location to be at to do Survivor?
Yeah, so I went to Nicaragua and then the Philippines and then Fiji. I will say probably Fiji, and it's just the easiest conditions. So Nicaragua would rain every night, and it would be like it really is real. Everyone is always like, is Survivor real? And it, besides the cameras around you, which you forget about very quickly, you're starving, you're eating like a handful of rice. You're getting rained on at night. So in Nicaragua, it was like pouring on us. Like we were just walking the beach because if you're sitting in the shelter, you're just getting dripped on. And it's just like torture. And then the Philippines was a little better, but we would have like rats run across us at night. And then I got these like bug bites that were so infected. It was bad. And then Fiji was kind of like so easy compared to the other two. It was like never rained.
Oh, nice.
Sleeping
That's why they keep going back there.
Yeah. So it's definitely like a lot easier than when I played.
Okay. So there is this old Survivor versus new Survivor kind of thing. And I think it started maybe after Winners at War, which was season 40, and then COVID hit, which I think is kind of a demarcation line for a lot of us in society, but certainly for that show as well. Having played the old way and now having watched for the last 10 seasons, 5 years, the new way, what do you think of the new way?
Okay. I mean, I'll be real with you. I'm not a huge fan.
I think it sucks.
Yeah, I think it's
I think it sucks.
I am honestly, even though we're like trying to hype up the finale, I'm like starting to wane on like, but I still think watching Survivor is better than, not watching Survivor. But I am just, there's too many twists. There's too many things to keep track of. I miss old Survivor. I don't, not to be negative, but I think across the board, a lot of
think it's easier, the 26 days as opposed to the 39 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
Because Jeff will swear that it's not.
No, it's easier. I mean, I will say it's hard. Like when you get out on Survivor, even by day 3, you're actually like really struggling because you're not eating. You're truly starving, and it's like all the elements. So it's still hard. But I mean, now they get a couple different like changes of outfits. I don't want to be that like crotchety old, like back in my day, Survivor was so much harder, but it's hard not to be.
Couple of online questions that I got because I put it out on social media yesterday. This plays into one of the questions that I think we kind of talked about a minute ago, but Christian Mequan says, at what point does vanity go out the window? Do you get any privacy when it comes to bathing or changing clothes out there?
No, not really. I mean, well, yeah, you could. I mean, changing, you don't really change. You're like always have your swimsuit on.
Sure.
So you're like maybe putting your shirt on and off, but like everyone's just kind of walking around in their swimsuit. And then bathing, you just go out to the ocean. There's no bathrooms. There's the thing called.
I've heard about the aqua dump.
Yeah, the aqua dump. I didn't want to say it, but you just are kind of, if you aqua dump, you go out in the jungle, you don't really get any privacy.
Yeah, I think there's a misconception that there are porta potties out there.
No. And you don't want to leave for too long, because if you leave for too long to do anything, then people will start plotting against you. So, yeah.
Do you make friends, like legitimate friends on that show? Like I know you have affiliations during it, and then ultimately the competition ends, but do you have lifelong friends from your experiences? You've had 3 different runs at it.
I do, yeah. I mean, because a day out there feels like a week. I mean, you bond with these people on this very deep level that it's kind of hard for someone that hasn't been out and played Survivor to really understand what it's like. You don't want to be the person that's like, it's so hard, but like, it's a really draining experience, not just when you're playing, but then when you're waiting for it to air, and then when it's airing and you're getting all this hate online, and then you're worried about the edit. Like, you kind of bond with these people and commiserate just on like what you're going through. But yeah, I have a couple of really good friends from my seasons.
Can that bonding stay after a betrayal at all? Like, can there be friendships, off screen, like afterwards, after any sort of betrayal, or is that just a permanent? You know what? That's it. You're done. You're out of my life after this.
Well, so something about me, which you don't really learn until you are in a situation like this, is I actually can forgive pretty easily. So anyone that betrayed me, I'm just like, you actually made a good move. Because I do think that, I was a threat out there. I was winning all these challenges. So it kind of, instead of being mad at them, I was just more mad at myself of why didn't I see this coming? But a lot of people, when they get betrayed, it is tough to move on from that. I think what's harder is when you watch the show and you see somebody you thought you were friends with just say bad stuff about you, call you annoying and stuff. And you're like, wait, I thought you liked me. That's what's like actually harder. But the betrayal, it's like, yeah, you're salty for a couple days. And then I don't know, you move on and you just I'm more mad at myself for not playing the idol or for not seeing it coming.
Yeah. Well, we were all at home rooting for you. Play the idol.
I know. It wasn't even a thought in my mind.
That's why they call it a blind side, right?
Yep.
Jack in Brookfield writes in, what is your biggest regret from your 3 times that you played? Would that be it?
Probably not playing my idol.
Okay.
If I would have played my idol, I could have then realized that I was on the bottom and did something.
You played with some big personalities. So you played with Boston Rob. You were part of one of the oddest moments that I've ever seen watching the show when Zeke was called out by Jeff Varner for being trans, which was just one of the ugliest moments that you could possibly imagine. And you were sitting right there. When that was happening, I mean, what was going through everybody at Tribal Council's mind?
It was weird because I feel like it was, to us, it was so obvious this is not something you bring up on national television. We all know this is going to make the episode if you're bringing it up. Of
course.
And it was like very maddening and like emotional and just like so sad and so weird because
and unnecessary.
It has nothing to do with the game. So whenever like someone crosses over into that and bringing things that don't matter into the game, it was like very, very shocking. Yeah, and sad. But I mean, Zeke is great and he's thriving, and
like I said, you also played with Boston Rob. You also played with Philip, the FBI agent, the federal agent.
Yeah.
Do you have relationships with any of those guys, those big personalities that, when you instantly think of Survivor, you think of Philip and his weirdness and Boston Rob and his Machiavellian ways?
I don't really talk to Philip anymore. I don't know. Philip and I used to catch up a lot, but it would just be like him talking for like an hour straight.
That tracks.
And as you get older, sometimes you're like, I don't know, this friendship seems very one-sided. Boston Rob, here and there, and we're good. If I wanted to call him, he'd answer. I'm good friends with Parvati. I didn't play with her, but she's a staple in Survivor world. And honestly, when you're on the show, I have access to anyone that's ever played Survivor. You're friends on social media, you see each other at events. So it is kind of nice to kind of be in this family once you're on it.
Well, one guy that I've gotten to know a little bit because he and I do the same thing was Sam Phelan from a couple of seasons ago. He's great. And he came in to Milwaukee, excuse me, right before earlier this year before the NFL scouting combine. So I saw him here briefly at your event that you had downtown. And then 2 days later in Indianapolis because he's got his job to do, covering the Tennessee Titans. So I thought he was great. That was a great event that you had last year. You've got another one coming up tonight at the Wicked Hub.
Yeah, so we do finale events and some premiere events. And tonight we just have a bunch of Survivor fans coming in, watching the finale. We have Matt Lenahan. He was on Survivor Nicaragua. Okay. His name was Sash on the show, if that was his nickname. So sometimes we'll have these events and certain players we'll just stop in. It's a blast. And it's kind of cool that I've kind of found all these Survivor fans in Milwaukee that are down to come and watch the show. I feel like when I was on the show, and it's nothing against people my parents' age,
right.
but when I was on the show, it kind of felt like, oh, the only people that watch Survivor are my parents' friends. And so, it was still fun. But now there's just a lot of younger kids, all these college kids. Everyone loves Survivor. I think because they found it on streaming services. So it's a fun group.
You did an event in Madison at where Nick does his pregame show for Badgers football at Union South.
Yeah,
that's right.
That was well attended.
Oh, it sold out. Yeah, CBS came and did a huge event, and it sold out. It was packed. It was amazing. And I think that CBS knows that I do these events, so they specifically kind of were like, "Hey, Andrew, would you be down to partner with us?" Yeah. So.
When you look at other reality TV shows, we were talking about this yesterday. Hey, what one would we fit in on? And we really couldn't nail down where we would fit. Doug would want to be on Survivor. He feels like he's too old now.
I'm too old.
How old are you?
53.
No, you could do it.
I'd be voted out instantly. I'd be the old guy.
They need to cast older people. Okay. And you're not even old. But they need to cast more people in their 50s.
Well, I'm not Rudy old, but
yeah.
Is there another reality TV show that you would like to potentially participate in?
The one that I would probably say yes to would be The Traitors. You guys watch that show?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, that's one.
I like that one more than Erica does. So
that's one I think I could do because no one looks so bad. The worst you're gonna look is you thought someone was a traitor and they weren't.
Would you rather be a traitor or a faithful?
I think a traitor would be great because faithful. That's the only thing about that show. I don't totally I like it, but it's okay. So if you're faithful, you can just get killed for no reason.
Yes.
Yeah. Just for whatever.
It's like being blindsided on Survivor. But
but I've said no to a few shows. I was asked to do The Challenge, and I said no just because I'm at this point in my life. I'm not gonna get in a romance on national TV, and I'm not gonna get in a fight. So I don't. There's certain shows I'm just not going to be very fun on.
That's fair.
Yeah, and then I also my sister really wants me to audition for The Amazing Race with her, but I have the worst sense of direction. I'll probably get lost on the way out to find where I parked to get here. So I don't know. Reality shows really are a way that you can look really dumb on national television.
But you're also a host though too, because you've done some travel shows. Right now, as I mentioned before you came on, you are one of the main fill-ins on the Morning Blend over on TMJ4. You've got Discover Wisconsin, which is traveling all over the state of Wisconsin, but I know you've done some things out. I think you did one tropical one. Was it in Mexico?
Oh yeah, I did a show in Cabo.
Cabo, yeah. So you've done some of that stuff as well. Where do you see all of this going? Because you've done a lot of traveling, a lot more than a lot of people, and you've done a lot of hosting, a lot more than a lot of people. What do you want to do?
I mean, honestly, I'm so happy right now. Just kind of like keeping like this variety going. It's like I don't know. I like having do stuff for the morning show in Milwaukee, do some social media stuff, do the podcast I do with Discover Wisconsin. That's called The Cabin, and hosting for Discover Wisconsin. I love being in Wisconsin. So I kind of just think as long as I can keep this train running, I was in New York and interviewing all these huge celebrities and going to the Emmys and all that stuff. That was great, but I wasn't as happy as I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of think if I can keep up this freelance TV life, I'm just going to keep going.
You've done the ball drop in New York City. How many times?
It's going to be, I think, my 13th or 14th year.
So what's that? That's one of the things that I've always wanted to do, but I've always kind of wanted to do it because I know people get out there, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of a Taylor Swift concert when they said that they would just wear diapers because they didn't want to miss anything. I don't know that there's any bathrooms out there. I'm sure you probably have one because of production, but or not.
Yeah, no, I do. So I have a trailer. So yeah, I mean, I host for the live stream for the Times Square Alliance. So it's the only live stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a trailer and a VIP pass. So I'm walking right down Times Square. There's 1 million people there for the ball drop. But yeah, if you're going and you're really trying to get a good spot, you're going to be trying to get in line at 7 or 8 a.m. There's no bathrooms.
Right.
So
yeah.
people have diapers. I don't get it. I don't know. I can't go a whole day.
Cultural phenomenon.
I can't go a whole day without peeing.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't think anybody.
They
can.
don't.
It's,
that's a good
but
point.
when I go, we are trying to highlight the good parts. So we're not asking people about the struggles. We're asking people about how much fun they're having. And usually we're saying, hey, pretend you're having fun. I know that the ball doesn't drop for another 7 hours, because I go out there and I start interviewing people at 2 or 3 p.m. and then all the way until the ball drops. But there's nothing like being there in the middle of Times Square and the ball drops, the confetti is going and, start spreading the news. Yeah. It's magical. Also, fun fact, which I didn't realize until only a couple years ago. Did you know the confetti in Times Square, people throw it over? People are throwing the confetti.
For real?
Yes. No,
there's not a machine that does it?
I still think I'm being pranked, but I found out about this a couple of years ago. I interviewed someone that is one of the confetti throwers.
Okay.
They go up on the buildings and then they all throw the confetti.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
How do I get that job?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That would be a fun job to have, I think. I mean, you get some access to it.
3, 2, 1.
Just don't throw it early.
Yeah.
You also done a lot of red carpet when you were at People magazine. Favorite celebrities that you've interviewed over the years?
I would say
Golden Globes, Emmys.
Yeah. I mean, Robert De Niro definitely was a really amazing moment. He's actually notoriously kind of a low key interview though.
Okay.
It was shocking. You sometimes you interview these people and you think they're going to be larger than life, but he was very chill and very nice. Brad Pitt was the one I probably got starstruck over.
Okay.
You have all, you're possibly going to interview him, and then he walks up and you're like, oh, what am I going to ask? It's I only had days to think of this. J-Lo. I think one of the nicest celebrities I've ever interviewed is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Okay.
He's someone that will remember your name and specifically make sure he hits every publication on the carpets. Because you know how those things are. I mean, it looks way cooler on social media than it is. You go to these premieres and then the celebs just pass you up and you're like, J-Lo.
Thoughts on season 49? What have you seen so far? I know the finale is tonight. Do you have a prediction who might come away with the $1 million?
I think it's looking good for Savannah and Rizzo.
Okay.
Because they're kind of been leading it the last. I think that if you're watching, I don't know. I kind of think that Sophie and Sage should have made a move.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried
when they had the chance.
When they had the chance. So, but I like Sophie a lot, and I just wanted her to make that move. So I don't know.
You're not on Survivor 50, which is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you regret that at all? Did you want to be on Survivor 50 at all?
There's what do I want? What do I need? Right? Do I want to? Sure, that would have been fun. Do I need it in my life? Probably not. And also, it's not my decision. You know, they did give me an initial call, which was flattering because I have a lot of friends that were big players that didn't get a call. So that was cool. But it's like, okay, if my option is to like regret it and be sad or just be like, whatever, like I'm just going to go, it's a lot of good comes with it, but also like, the most stressed out I've ever been in my life and the most anxious I've ever been in my life was when Survivor was airing. So even if like it's a bummer to not be on it, I can also rest easy knowing like I'm a little bit more mentally stable.
Who are you anxious to see play again? Because we all know who's playing. We all know who's on it right now.
I one of my favorite people I've ever met from Survivor and played with is Aubrey.
Okay.
I love her. We were like, when we didn't meet until the merge of my last season, but we were like glue to each other. And we just were starting to trust each other. Because when you just meet on the show, you can't just instantly trust them. We were just starting to cook. And then I was blindsided. But I love Aubrey. I like Suri, Ozzy, the people I played with. Yeah, that is the one weird thing is that it could have been me instead of one of them. I mean, I played with all three of them. And then like Genevieve, she came out to Milwaukee last year. I love her. There's a lot of people I'm excited to watch.
Would you ever play Survivor again, whether it's Survivor 50 or any other season?
It's an addiction. Like it's one of those things, like as much as I could say, no, I'm retired. When you have CBS call you and I always know the number, it pops up. I'm like, oh boy. Because I only get that call, it's that number from that casting director. When they say, are you interested in playing again? This is what we're kind of thinking. It's almost impossible to say no.
I hope anyway, I can speak for only myself. I hope you play again if you want to play again, because I think it would be fun. I always like having a rooting interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when my friend Andrea's on it.
And the parties would be fun.
The parties would be great.
And
you got another one coming up tonight.
Yep. So Wicked Hop, doors open at 6 p.m. Or actually, I think doors open at 5 p.m. And then the show starts at 7. We're doing a fun game with a cash prize.
Ooh, okay. Who ponies up the cash?
Me.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me. If I ever complain about like not having like extra money, it's but to me, it's just like so fun. And I don't know. It's like the holidays. And I'm like, you know what? If someone that needs the money like wins, that's great.
Okay. All right. She played Survivor 22, Redemption Island, Survivor 26, Fans versus Favorites, Survivor 34, Game Changers. That was the only one that you played in Fiji, right?
Yep.
Okay. Coming up tonight, doors open at 5:00 if you're in Milwaukee at the Wicked Hop in the 3rd Ward. Andrea, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. There she is, Andrea Belke, joining us from Survivor. Some great questions on the talk and text line, as well as on social media when I put it up yesterday. Again, Wicked Hop tonight and Survivor. I know it'll be interrupted by Donald at some point, but it is what it is.
Yeah, nothing we can do.
Maybe it'll go until 11 o'clock. Who knows? It'll be a late night at the Hop. Andrea Belke here on D.N.D. One more segment this hour, and coming up at the top of the hour, Nick will have Bruiser's Bites, and we'll look forward to that. And stay with us on the game.
Wishing you the best, praise that you are blessed, much success, no stress, and lots of happiness. I'm better than that.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
California's Creedence Clearwater Revival released their debut LP, which contains the number 11 single, Susie Q. And in August, American band Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit in the UK with Moni Moni. It goes to number 8 in the US. And the Doors have their first number 1 album and their second and last number 1 single with Hello, I Love You.
When she moves, my brain screams out this song.
In November of 68, Van Morrison releases his second solo album, Astral Weeks, and Joe Cocker has a UK number 1 with his cover of the Beatles with a little help from my friends. And in December, Motown holds the top spot with number 1 hits from Marvin Gaye, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and the Supremes with Love Child. The Beatles released their first single on their own Apple label, Hey Jude, back with Revolution. The over 7-minute song went to number 1 in the US and the UK.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Led Zeppelin released their fifth album, Houses of the Holy. It goes to number 1 in the US and the UK and yields the top 20 hit Dire Maker.
But I still love you so, and I can't let you go. I love you.
The Doobie Brothers released their top 10 album, The Captain and Me, with the singles Long Train Runnin' and China Grove. And in June, Joe Walsh and Barnstorm have a top 10 album buoyed by the single Rocky Mountain Way. Also in June of 73, George Harrison scores the number 1 single, Give Me Love, from the number 1 album, Living in the Material World. And Chicago's 6th album goes to number 1 with 2 top 10 hits, Just You and Me and Feeling Stronger Every Day. In July, 600,000 Jam Watkins Glen for Summer Jam, the largest rock festival ever held in the U.S. It features the Band, the Grateful Dead, and the Allman Brothers. And in August, those same Allman Brothers released their first album after the death of Duane Allman and had their only hit single with Ramblin' Man, which goes to number 2.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
September of 77, American duo Steely Dan released their 6th album, Asia. It goes to number 3 in the States on the strength of 2 top 20 hits, Peg and Deacon Blues. In October, the major label debut album by Meatloaf is released, hits number 14 in the U.S., and goes on to be one of the best-selling albums of all time.
I gotta know right now, before we go any further, do you love me? Will you love me forever?
Leonard Skinner released the album Street Survivor. 3 days later, singer Ronnie Van Zant and 2 other band members were killed in a plane crash. The album goes to number 5 in the States, and the single What's Your Name hits number 13.
What's your name, little girl? What's your name?
In November, Eric Clapton's Slow Hand is released. It goes to number 2, driven by 3 hit singles, Cocaine, Wonderful Tonight, and Lay Down Sally.
Lay down, Sally, and rest you in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
In November, George Harrison's triple solo album goes to number 1 in the US and the UK. The album yields a number 1 single in My Sweet Lord. And TV sitcom The Partridge Family generates a number 1 hit with I Think I Love You, with vocals by newly minted teen idol David Cassidy.
I don't know what I'm up against. I don't know what it's all about. I got so much to think about. Hey, I think I love you. So what am I so afraid of? I'm afraid that I'm not sure of a love there is no cure for.
And Eric Clapton forms Derek and the Dominoes and releases an album including guest appearances by Duane Allman. The single Layla goes top 10 in the US and the UK.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up.
Themes are on point. On point.
Oh yes, thank you.
As always.
Yeah, we had to start with Destiny's Child, of course, but
well, yeah,
we cannot forget Gloria Gaynor.
No one can forget Gloria Gaynor.
No,
I know Nick's enjoying it.
I mean, I guess I never knew. I couldn't have told you who's singing the song. Now I do. I now know.
So this was like. This is a song that had a resurgence. I think it was recorded in the 70s.
Yeah.
It had a resurgence in the 90s at Molly Maguire's in Oshkosh.
Sure.
Because when you fire this sucker up, you get the sorority girls out on the dance floor.
Of course.
Okay, all right, here
which
we go.
is what everyone wants.
Well, I mean,
at that bar,
all
yeah.
the sorority girls
at Molly
and
Maguire's.
Doug out on the dance floor.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, the Gloria Gaynor's out there, and the Tri-Sigmas are out there.
We're all hanging out at Molly Maguire.
We're all hanging out at Molly Maguire's.
Yes.
Molly Maguire's, where bad decisions are made, as opposed to Kelly's, where the good times roll.
Absolutely.
And then there were some other bars around there. My roommate was a bartender at the library.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we had a library in La Crosse, too.
Of course.
Yeah.
My
If
friends,
mom calls, tell her you're at the library.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm at the library. But
Yeah.
we didn't have cell phones back in the day, so
Yeah.
you'd have to leave a message on the answering machine, which was in the dorm room. But Ben, my roommate, was already over there, and then I would go out there over there and drink for free. But the library's not
great
there
plan.
anymore. Barney's isn't there anymore.
Oh.
That whole strip of bars. Well, Kelly's is still there, and Molly McGuire's is still there, but they were in a different.
Okay. I wonder if they still play I Will Survive.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like you got to have that bar that plays the throwbacks.
I haven't.
You know?
I haven't been. We were talking about being too old to play Survivor.
Yeah.
For the last 20 years, if I would have walked into Molly McGuire's, it would have been A, somebody's dad is here, or B, a cop is here.
Yeah. It's like nothing good's coming from this.
No,
Just
there's nothing. I have there.
be
there-
on your best behavior.
There is an age limit outside of homecoming weekend.
Yeah.
Outside of that, because that's when the olds
Come back
show
into
up.
town. Yeah.
Outside or
For
graduation.
Yes.
Those are the
So
two.
it's like, okay, yeah, the parents are here. This makes sense.
Other than that, there is an age limit, and that age limit is like 25. Anything
Yeah.
over 25, you are too old to be in this establishment.
Yeah.
So you got a 4-year window at Molly McGuire's
Yeah.
where bad decisions are made.
Of course. That's a great tagline.
It is. They
For a
should
bar.
use it.
Yeah. 4-year
I don't know how
window
much
where
they
bad
want.
decisions are made.
A 4-year, well, at Molly McGuire's.
Yeah.
That's when, because you will age out. You will age out.
Yeah. That's why they're college bars.
All right. Bruisers, bites. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's precisely. That's why you can get away with,
Calling it a college bar. It's like, yeah.
quarter tappers. It was a nice,
Yeah.
I mean,
If you're 30 showing up to a college bar, it's like, bro.
and if I walked into it right now, I don't know what, I hope they've at least done some updates, because if they haven't, good grief. All right. Bruisers, bites is next. One more hour to go here on D.N.D.
You are listening to D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1970.
Chicago breaks through with their second album, generating 3 top 10 singles: Color My World, 25 or 624, and Make Me Smile. And Simon & Garfunkel released the album Bridge Over Troubled Water. It would win the Grammy for Album of the Year. The single of the same name would also hit number 1.
Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down.
In February of 1970, Paul McCartney files a petition with the court to dissolve the Beatles partnership. James Taylor leaves Apple Records and releases the album Sweet Baby James on Warner Brothers. He has a number 3 single with Fire and Rain and receives major publicity as a leader in the wave of new, more mellow singer-songwriters of the time.
Let it roll all night long.
The Doors get back to the blues with the album Morrison Hotel, which climbs to number 4 on the album charts. In March, Crosby, Stills, and Nash add Neil Young to their lineup and have a number 1 album with Deja Vu, which includes 3 top 40 singles. And New York hard rockers Mountain released their debut Climbing with the single Mississippi Queen.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Boston band Aerosmith released their debut album. It fares poorly. It would be re-released in 76 and yield a top 10 hit, Dream On.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, right on that.
Elvis Presley's live TV special, Aloha from Hawaii, is watched by more than 1 billion people worldwide and introduces the world to the rhinestone white jumpsuit. In February of 73, Alice Cooper has a number 1 album with Billion Dollar Babies, along with 3 top 40 singles. Elton John also has a number 1 album and his first number 1 single with Crocodile Rock. Paul McCartney and Wings have a #1 single with My Love, and the Stooges signed to Columbia Records and released their final album, Raw Power, produced by David Bowie. In March, Pink Floyd releases the now legendary Dark Side of the Moon. It goes to #1 and becomes one of the best-selling albums of all time.
And everything under the sun is you, and the sun is a great spot.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Looking back at the world of sports, it's the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
What's happening, fellow sports fans? It's Andy West, and I'm here to take you on a journey back to this week in sports history. We'll start off in 1914. Babe Ruth makes his MLB debut, pitching a 4-3 Boston Red Sox win over the Cleveland Naps at Fenway Park. This week in 1934, Carl Hubble strikes out Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin in succession. But the American League comes back to win the All-Star Game 9-7 at the Polo Grounds. Staying in baseball, this week in 1955, St. Louis's Stan Musial hit Frank Sullivan's first pitch of the 12th inning for a home run to give the National League All-Star team a 6-5 victory over the American League at Milwaukee's County Stadium. The American League had led 5-0 after 6 innings. This week in 1972, Robert Irsay buys the stock of the LA Rams for $19 million and swaps the franchise for the Baltimore Colts. The players and coaches are not affected. This week in 1999, Team USA wins the Women's World Cup over China in sudden death. The Americans win 5-4 in penalty kicks, with defender Brandi Chastain kicking the game winner.
Play ball!
And this week in 2010, Brian McCann's 3-run double in the 7th inning provided the National League all the offense it needed to capture its first Midsummer Classic since 1996 with a 3-1 victory.
And that's just some of what happened this week in sports history. The Weekend Sports Time Capsule on iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Sir Elton John to reflect on how radio can ignite the imagination.
You know, I grew up in an era, and I'm so grateful, after the war, the Second World War, where radio and records were primary source of music. But for me, listening to a play or listening to the radio and hear someone talk and reading a story, you had to use your imagination, like you do when you read a book. You read a novel and you read a story and you imagine what's going on. And your imagination is the most valuable asset you will possibly have.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the game.
A million miles away, a message to the main.
It's the 2011 MLB postseason.
Back again.
The Cardinals, the Brewers, the
NLCS.
Diamondbacks,
Not yet.
other teams that made the postseason that year.
It's time.
Who did the Cardinals beat in the Red Sox? Red Sox? Who did they beat in the World Series that year? In 11.
Rangers.
Was
Yeah,
it
it was the Rangers up
The
there.
Rangers, American League teams too.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
But listen,
Someone's
anytime-
not a tiny Tampa fan.
Anytime. No, it's just-
Anytime I play this, every
this-
single time.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe, and you think it's going to stop? Because every single commercial break in the 2011 MLB
Yeah.
postseason, they play. This is not in and of itself a bad song.
Yeah.
However, when any song is played to death,
Yeah.
even 15 years later, almost, it's going to resonate.
Yeah. The American League that year, Yankees, Rangers, Tigers, and Rays. And the Phillies were the other.
Interestingly enough, I kind of remembered the Rays, but I didn't remember the team that actually got through to the World Series that year.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. But and then the Phillies were the other one in the National League side.
Let's see. On the talking text line, somebody wrote in. Where did the talking text line go? Oh, here it is.
Oh, no.
Ellen from football.
hiding.
Where is Molly McGuire's in Oshkosh? It's near campus. I don't know. It's near. It's. You take out a pitching wedge from Kelly's. I don't know if Molly McGuire. She said she was a student from 1980 to 1984. I don't know when it opened, but if you take out a pitching wedge or like a sand wedge from Kelly's, you can hit Molly McGuire's. It's right there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what it looks like anymore because I'm not allowed to go in it anymore because I have gone past Nick's age of 25. Nick, you can still
539 Campus Place.
Okay, sure. 539 Campus Place.
It's right next to a Papa John's. It looks.
Yeah, that pizza joint has been every pizza joint you can possibly imagine over the last 30 years. So,
yeah, I could see that.
There was a Pizza Pit while I was there. I think it was a Domino's for a minute.
Yeah, there's also a Toppers right across the street there. There's a Euro place.
Yeah. So
and
Nick,
Insomnia cookies.
Nick, you're the only one of us who can still go in legitimately. I know. I'm just saying, if you find yourself in Oshkosh,
that's right.
You're still allowed to go in. There's another thing.
I'll go in.
You will go in and you will get I don't know if they have chicken nuggets or anything or cheese nuggets or anything like that, but I do know that they will have some bites of some things that our friend Bruiser can then consume and then give to the rest of the world in the little thing we like to call a Bruiser's Bites.
Time now for Bruiser's Bites.
Yes, it is time for Bruiser's Bites as we gear up for the weekend. You don't have to wait the full week to watch the Packers play. They play on Saturday instead this week, and they will once again, as always, be without Marshawn Lloyd. Here's what head coach Matt LaFleur had to say about his latest hamstring injury.
It's one of those things that's very, very, very unfortunate because this guy has worked his ass off to kind of battle back, and to be in that spot again, it's just, what do you say to him? So we'll continue to investigate and try to figure out why this keeps occurring, but it's certainly unfortunate.
As always, Bruiser's Bites brought to you by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, WI Concrete Coatings. Got to get that out of the way first and foremost. What the hell do you do with Marshawn Lloyd at this point?
Well, there's no advantage, apparently, as we learned in the meeting today, of cutting him before
that's right
training camp next year. So you're not going to save any money. If it was anything that would have cost the team anything, especially in salary cap space, you've got, at this point, it's like, listen, I'll always put up for my USC Trojan guys. And I think there's a lot of talent there. And obviously the coaching staff thinks there's a lot of talent there, but it doesn't matter if you can't get on the field. So, I mean, that's just the reality of the National Football League. If you can't get on the field, you can't contribute, and you're not going to be part of the team because you can't be part of the team because you're not contributing to the team. And he can be the nicest guy on the planet. I've given you the example of Brady Ewing a couple of times. Got to know his sister was my intern back in the day. I've known him since before he got to the University of Wisconsin. He was a captain on a Rose Bowl team, one of the best fullbacks that program has ever put out, and they put out a couple of decent fullbacks. Got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, tore his ACL on the opening kickoff of the preseason of his rookie year and was never the same. Was out of football in 3 years. Nicest guy in the world, didn't matter, couldn't play.
Yeah, the best ability is availability, as they say. So it's tough. It's another incredibly tough blow for Marshawn Lloyd. You hate to see it because you know that potential is there, that ability to have some explosiveness is there. You can see it in very few flashes when he has been healthy, but yeah, the best ability is availability, and he hasn't been there. So you're going to put him back on IR. You're not going to, the practice window is going to close and he'll just be back on IR. And yeah, then you go into next camp. And I say, honestly, give him like the red non-contact jersey in training camp next year. Like,
can you wrap it around his hamstring?
Just wrap it around him, like have him in bubble wrap for all of camp and just try to make sure he does not get hit at all. Like, do everything you can to prevent him from getting hurt so we can just see him out there.
A lot of it's been non-contact. I know the Hobbs situation notwithstanding, but the trainers don't even know if that's what caused his injury. Most of his injuries have been non-contact. And like you said, it's been a hamstring. Wrap the bubble wrap around that. I know that.
Send him to Madison.
He's been to Madison. They did.
And they also sent him out west on some mysterious trip. Yeah.
I think that was in reference here, maybe. But
well,
yeah, not
Madison's
great.
more south. I mean, it's a little bit west, but like,
southwest.
They sent him. Yeah, it's true. It is southwest. They sent him and Evan Williams. They went together down, and they're locker mates, by the way. They're next to each other in the locker room.
Oh, nice.
It is nice. But they sent them both to Madison at the end of last season, and they both went through that protocol. And Evan Williams, I know he's a little bit banged up right now, but he's by and large been able to stay healthy this season.
Yeah.
Marshawn got to go back.
Yeah.
He got to go back. Whatever it was, it didn't take.
Yeah.
We'll transition to another player that I think a lot of people have been looking to get more out of. Lucas Van Ness made his return to action against the Broncos, playing 22 snaps on defense. This is what head coach Matt LaFleur had to say about him as he gets his feet under him late in the year.
I thought Van Ness was definitely a boost for us. It was great to see him back out there, the energy that he played with. I thought he was running to the ball, running hard to the ball. I thought he was playing pretty well. So hopefully we can continue to amp him up.
Those that are waiting for more from Lucas Van Ness are questioning if he was worth being a first-round pick a couple years ago. Is there enough time, and can he justify being a first-round pick still here this season?
He's starting to get it, though. That's the thing. I know the injury kind of derailed him a little bit, but you paired him earlier in the season with Micah and Rashawn, and he can rush through the guards. I think there's talent there. Sometimes guys matriculate a little bit differently or mature a little bit differently. And maybe Lucas Van Ness is one of those guys. It's not like he was a starter at Iowa. He was drafted as a project. I don't know that he necessarily had to be a first-round draft choice as a project. I still think there's something there. But again, it goes back to the injuries. Can he make an impact this year? I hate making predictions, but we saw him out there last week. So those are steps in the right direction after having a setback. He's going to have to, I mean, if the Packers are going to make designs on getting to the second weekend of the NFL playoffs, and I don't know if they can, he's going to be one of those guys that has to step up, along with, Adrian Cooper's going to have to step up, and you're going to need to see some production out of Rashawn Gary. So it's been a tough row for Lucas Van Ness. I wish nothing but the best for him, and I hope for his sake and the Packers' sake that they can get some return out of that very high draft capital that they used on him.
Yeah, and I think there was the hope for that this year, and then maybe there was a little bit of progress. He did get a full sack, a solo sack against the Bengals, but then injured himself on that and then missed basically the next 2 months with that. And I mean, he's got 1.5 total sacks on the season. I mean, he's only been back twice since that injury. Had 2 tackles against the Broncos. This was kind of viewed as a big year, and you're like, yes, the injury derailed a part of it, but I really don't know if we're going to be able to end up justifying that first round pick. I mean, with what we've seen this year, at the very least, it's going to be a minimal bust.
Yeah, I would go back and say they've had a couple of other guys that they've drafted in the first round that they didn't get any production out of the first 2 or 3 years of their NFL careers. I know that they were on the bench, but Aaron Rodgers didn't play until his third year. By and large, got a couple of relief stints. Jordan Love did.
Quarterback's a different spot,
let's
though.
talk about Devontae Adams. Let's talk about,
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he didn't really contribute much until his third year.
Yeah, I mean, he had the major drops problem his rookie year.
Sure.
Major drops problem.
And Packers fans were ready to run him out of town, despite the fact that he was a second-round draft choice. So, I mean, I'm just urging a little bit of patience. We started to see some flashes of what the Packers saw. First couple of years, he wasn't very good. There's no, you can't sugarcoat it. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He wasn't very good. Started to get it this year. And sometimes it all depends on who you have around you.
Yeah.
Though as well, because
now he doesn't have Micah Parsons around him.
Right. And I think we haven't
or
seen
Devontae Wyatt.
Right. And I think that's not going to help him.
Yeah.
Certainly. But again, we started to see some of it. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm gonna pump the brakes on calling him a bust yet, but the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs was available yesterday as well, and that's what he had to say about where the offense is still potentially falling short entering Week 16.
I think the biggest thing for us as an offense is just doing it more consistently. Stops having so many, splash plays here and there. Have a week where we almost go perfect in the red zone, and then a week like last week where we didn't convert as much as we wanted to in the red zone. I think it's just about being more consistent as an offense, and our playmakers coming up, showing up every week.
How does the offense best help the defense now here moving forward?
Score points.
Yeah.
I mean,
put up a lot of them.
Yeah. Put up a lot of points. I mean, honestly, and long sustained drives. You got to keep the offense on the field and the defense off the field as much as you can. You can't afford too many. I mean, you're going to have a couple of 3-and-outs during a game. That's going to happen. It's bound to happen. It's part of life in the league. But if you can minimize those and minimize the amount of time that you're expecting the defense to perform without Micah Parsons, it's going to help. I mean, offense can't turn the ball over. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number one. Okay, so number one is points. Number two is don't turn the ball over. Number three is time of possession. There are a lot of things the offense can do to help the defense. Not going to keep them off the field all 60 minutes, though.
Yeah, you're not going to, but yeah, you got to be able to have those. I completely agree. All three of those points there with Doug. I mean, you got to be able to put up a bunch of points. Got to have some long sustained drives, and you cannot be turning the ball over. And the Packers, by and large, have done a good job of not turning the ball over this season, but still, 3 and outs, especially like if you have back-to-back 3 and outs, that's really going to put your defense in a tough spot. So you got to be able to get some time of possession, keep the clock churning, and do it while it's in your hands.
Well, Fernando Mendoza has had one hell of a season, winning the Heisman Trophy, and in his return to Indiana, local press asked him about, how him and his guys celebrated, and he kind of sent a shot across the board. You'll hear it here.
We know how to handle ourselves in class. You never get obliterant. We always have a good time, and we stay within we can always control ourselves. And then that's one thing with us is it's always a good time because we control yourself, and we don't need all that extracurricular stuff, if you get what I'm alluding to have a ton of fun. We all just have a lot of fun with each other. So it's more about feeding off of each other and having a good time.
Yeah, this is in reference to Diego Pavia and his clubbing and his belt and the sign and all the crap that he did and how he celebrated essentially not winning, right? I mean, protested not winning. A couple of big words here from Mendoza that he might have botched a little bit, but
that's okay. I got what
is he
you're saying.
too nice to effectively trash talk? Because I feel like that.
Does he need
fell
trash
flat.
talk? I mean,
he's got.
He tried Heisman there.
Yeah,
he tried
and failed. But that's okay.
That's what I'm saying.
If I'm advising Fernando Mendoza, just let you play talk for you, because I don't think he's too nice maybe to do the jawing. I don't think he needs to do the jawing. But if you're putting up the numbers that he put up at Indiana this year, if you've got the talent that he's got, I mean, that says more than any yapping can be. I mean, Pavia, I think Diego Pavia hurt himself. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. He hurt himself even after the apology. Fine, great. Okay, you apologize, but still, you showed a lack of maturity, and teams are going to question you about that, and your draft stock dropped because of that. Sorry, just did.
Yeah. I think, we talked about how Fernando Mendoza is kind of, dorky, and maybe he is a bit too dorky to be a good trash talker, which is fine. Again, I'd rather have him be dorky than doing what Diego Pavia did. So, I respect the attempt there at the trash talk and just saying like, oh yeah, we're able to just kind of have a good time without doing any of that. So yeah, I think it was great. Pavia absolutely hurt himself with all. I mean, what were you thinking, dude? And also, everyone's like, he listed himself as 6 foot, and still looking at next to these other guys, and he's like 3 inches shorter than him. It's like, dude's 5'9", probably, and you had 180 some voters that actually put you as their Heisman vote, and you just said F all of them anyway. I mean, it was I think I'm just seeing how both of them reacted. Absolutely the right call, the right person got it. And Mendoza doesn't have to talk the biggest trash back to him because he's got the Heisman Trophy in hand.
If Pavia would have deserved it, he would have gotten the votes.
Yeah.
Bottom line. I don't think anybody thought that he was, maybe except for him, I don't think anybody thought that he was actually going to win the award.
No, I was actually surprised he came in second.
A lot of people were.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be Sayin. I thought, even Jeremiah Love had a better chance.
The thing about Sayin is he's got so many years ahead of him that, I think that he's goes into next season as the prohibitive favorite.
Yeah.
But, with Diego Pavia, I mean, it's just, you show yourself to have a lack of maturity, that's going to follow you. It just is. And
well, especially when you get to the height questions, like at quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, and Johnny Manziel actually won the Heisman Trophy
and
still showed a lack of maturity. And he was bounced out of the league in a couple of years. And, you can say that maybe he was a little bit undersized. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Or he went to the wrong organization because Cleveland Browns,
possibility. That's a possibility too. But there are guys that survive that and go on, like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Maybe you show a little bit of immaturity, but then you get into a good situation and you can possibly, then thrive.
Yeah.
Sorry if I
My
went too
bad.
long there, Nick.
No, you're good. I hit the button on accident. I was getting ready to hit the button, and then I hit the button. I had done.
Like I'm getting the wrap.
Yeah.
No, you're done. And
Yeah.
I do have a little bit of a longer bite here
Premature
to
button
finish us off today. I did have a Kuzma sounder, but who cares? I mean, seriously. So we'll end with this. Eli Drinkwitz, Missouri's head coach, had some really substantial comments about modern college football. It's a minute and a half, but I think there's a lot of good stuff in here.
No, there's a lot of coaches discussing it and frustrated, in my opinion. And I understand the national sentiment because of the salary ranges of head coaches that it feels like we're complaining, but we're really not. We're trying to sound warning bells, and that's that's what I believe we're all trying to do. Is that there's a warning that the system that we're in is really sick right now, and college football is sick, and not in a. It's just. There's showing signs of this thing really cracking moving forward, and we need to get something under control. The SCORE Act was something that it looked like it was going to be a step in a direction. There is no perfect solution, but we have to get some sort of steps moving in that direction. I think we're all weighted with, is it bated breath, the saying, trying to wait on what's going to happen with this fifth-year lawsuit in Nashville, where you could have a flurry of fifth-year guys now being eligible, and that would just throw a completely new wrinkle in the system. Tampering is at, the highest levels. There is no such thing as tampering. It's just because there's nobody that's been punished for tampering. And so everybody on my roster is being called. I had a dad call me and say that, and I called the head coaches at their schools, that this school and this school and this school called, and they are offering this much money.
I think it's a lot of good stuff. He goes on for about 4 minutes total. Obviously can't play back that entire bite. You're making a lot of money to be a head coach. He recognizes that there's a perception that these coaches are complaining. Hey, you make this much money, don't complain. How far off track have we gotten?
Really?
Like, is there a resuscitation of college football, or are we now past college football and we have semi-pro football and we just need to wrap our heads around that?
Yeah, I think it is semi-pro now. And I could have listened to that entire soundbite, the entire 4 minutes there, because it's all relevant. It's all true. He's correct. The coaches are a huge part of the problem. But as they say, it only takes one, because if there's one school that's poaching players, then another school has to poach players. And then they all have to poach players. And they all have to, contact key guys and offer them X amount of dollars. It is the Wild West. The NFL has guardrails. The NFL is professional sports, but at least it has guardrails, whether it's the salary cap, whether it's contracts that are binding. When coaches can get out of their contracts at a moment's notice, you can make the buyout whatever you want the buyout to be. These contracts, you can sign for X amount of however many years. They don't mean anything. They haven't meant anything for a long time, for decades. When coaches leave before bowl games, that's a problem. When players leave before bowl games. College football, it's what I was saying earlier this week, that I've never been less of a fan of college football than I am now. It's harder and harder and harder to get into it, as much as I want to see the two teams that I root for, Wisconsin and USC. I still hate the fact that they're in the same conference, but the two teams that I root for, I want to see them do well. But I can't connect with any of these guys because they're not playing for anything other than what's my paycheck going to be for the next 4 months, 3 months. And then after that, after Thanksgiving, I'm out. And I'm not going to play for my team anymore. I'm not going to risk that injury because the bowl game is meaningless. I've said for years, though, that bowl games should just pay out straight cash to all of the players instead of having them go into these gifting suites. They can buy their own headphones now, or they can buy their own sweats now. You're going to have to pay them money to play in these games. It is professional sports. College football is sick, it's broken, and it needs an absolute professional style overhaul, because none of the commitments that any of these individuals, coaches, or players make mean a hill of beans anymore.
Yeah, there's no way to to really kind of reverse it, I think, at this point. You need some sort of structure and control somehow. I don't know who's able to take it. I don't know who has the power to take it. The NCAA, you would think would, but they have proven to be powerless. and how this all has devolved over the past couple of seasons. And, Doug, you mentioned with, when someone poaches, everyone else has to poach because if you don't, you end up like a Dabo Sweeney where you're just like, oh, I'm not going to use a transfer portal. I'm not going to do any of this. You end up falling behind.
Yep. And
if you don't adapt with the times, with how it's all going, as shady and as horrible as it all is, as much as you may disagree with it, if you don't adapt with it, you will die.
And it doesn't matter how long you've been at a place. It doesn't matter what you've done at a place. It doesn't matter what your history is with a place. Look at how Oklahoma State did Mike Gundy.
Yeah.
I mean, he
shown the door.
He played quarterback there. He was the head coach for almost 20 years there. And because they got off to a slow start to the season, you got to go.
Yeah. James Franklin, 12 years at Penn State. A lot of success. Maybe couldn't win the big games.
3 bad weeks.
3 bad weeks. And out the door.
Yeah. The system is so, I hope they can get it back. But it's going to start with contracts that, because all of these kids that go and matriculate to universities, they are adults. And once you are an adult, whatever you put on the dotted line is a legally binding contract. You're going to have contracts that actually have some meaning to them, as opposed to the nonsense. And that goes for the coaches. Listen, if you sign up for the 2025 football season, you are the head coach for the 2025 football season, and no one else can come around sniffing around and wanting to poach you to be their coach for their team. That's not how it works in the NFL. That's not how it works in any other walk of life where there's a season and an off season. There's always an off season. Coaches shouldn't have to recruit on the daily their players. You shouldn't have to do that. Contracts need to have some teeth to them and some meaning behind them. And when you fire a coach, which sometimes you do, and that coach still has 3 or 4 or 5 years left on his contract, guess what? You got to pay it out. That's the penalty too. Forget any of this mitigation stuff. You fire a coach, you're on the hook for it. You cut a player, you're still on the hook for it and the scholarship. But these contracts are just utterly they're not worth the paper they're printed on. You can wipe your rear end with as much value as these contracts have to them. All the contracts do is it's like, this is what we're going to pay you. This is what the buyout is. The length of the contract doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
And that's how college sports, specifically in this case football, has gotten to the point where we're at. And you're losing fans. And once you lose all the fans, you lose all the money. And once you lose all the money, you lose the sport.
Yeah. I can't say it any better than that, Nick.
That's right. We've had 2 college football rants, well executed by Doug Russell. And to kind of put the cherry on top of it, a positive today for the Wisconsin Badgers. As I previously mentioned, they are in agreement to create a partnership with Learfield. The University of Wisconsin Athletic Department and Learfield's Badger Sports Properties have announced the creation of Badger Athlete Partners, an initiative designed to enhance support and streamline name, image, and likeness revenue generation for Badger student athletes. And Pete Thamel put out a piece even later on, after I announced that earlier, saying how it's a big step, significant move, and a positive for Wisconsin. So Wisconsin's moving in the right direction. Hopefully we can reap those benefits starting this next season. But you always reap the benefits if you visit wiconcretecoatings.com. Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, they can get you right. Your garage floor will be the belle of the ball, the nicest on the block. You'll have everyone wishing that they had your garage. So wiconcretecoatings.com. See all their great work there.
All right, Jim Polzin coming up in just a couple minutes. Good work, Nick. As always, it's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D will be back in just a moment.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In January of 69, Creedence Clearwater Revival has a number 2 hit with Proud Mary. The Beatles performed live for the last time on the rooftop of Apple Records in London. And after touring as the New Yardbirds in September of 68, Jimmy Page renames the band Led Zeppelin and releases their debut, which goes top 10 in both the US and UK.
Good times, bad times, you know I've had my share. When my woman left home for a blind man, but I still don't seem to care.
In February of '69, Detroit rockers MC5 released their debut album Kick Out the Jams on Elektra Records. Tommy James and the Shondells have a #1 hit with the psychedelic-influenced Crimson and Clover. And San Francisco's Sly and the Family Stone go to #1 with the single Everyday People.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Michael Jackson songs you've thumbed up. Number 3, The Way You Make Me Feel. Number 2, Beat It. Number 1, Billie Jean.
She just a girl that I am the one, but the chair is not my son.
Hear more from Michael Jackson and similar artists now. Search for Michael Jackson on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Billy Joel songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, My Life.
I don't care what you say anymore. This is my life. Go ahead with your own life. Leave me alone.
Number 2, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
Nowadays you can't be too sentimental. Your best bet's true, baby blue continental. Hot funk, cool punk, even if it's old junk, still rock and roll to me.
Number 1, Uptown Girl.
She's been living in her white bread world as long as anyone with hot can. And now she's looking for a downtown man. That's what I am.
Hear more from Billy Joel and similar artists now. Search for Billy Joel on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1971.
The Doors released their 6th and final studio album, L.A. Woman, while Paul McCartney releases his 2nd solo album, Ram, which goes to #1 UK and #2 US. The album includes several jibes at John Lennon and the #1 single, Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey. In May of '71, soul singer Marvin Gaye releases his concept album What's Going On and has 3 top 10 singles. And Rod Stewart's 3rd solo album goes #1 and has a #1 single, Maggie May.
Maggie, I wish I'd never seen your face.
In July of '71, The Who releases Who's Next. It tops the charts in the UK and goes to #4 in the US. The Allman Brothers released their breakthrough live double album at Fillmore East. And in August, the concert for Bangladesh, organized by George Harrison and Ravi Shankar, is held in New York City. In addition to the organizers, Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, Badfinger, Leon Russell, and Billy Preston appear.
Feel my guitar gently.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up.
Soldier Boy, tough. Hey, I got this new dance for y'all called the Soldier Boy.
All right, Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State Journal coming up in just a couple of minutes. So J.J. Watt wanted to be a Packer. Dave ran across this.
Yeah. What? So on the Pat McAfee show today, J.J. Watt was on, and he said back when he was a free agent, after he got, after he left the Texans and before he ended up going to the Arizona Cardinals, he said he wanted to be a Green Bay Packer, and only $5 million would have gotten it done. But the Packers we're not interested, and didn't even make him an offer.
Did they have a positional need at the time? I mean, listen, bringing in J.J. Watt would have been great. I think everybody in Wisconsin would have loved to have seen him end his career as a Packer.
Yeah, I would have loved that.
That was
good for that. I think that's a mistake just from a PR standpoint. He still had a couple of years left. He played. I mean, he wasn't great for the Cardinals, but
is
he was okay.
The difference in that Super Bowl run in 2021 when they fall short?
Let's see that 2021 team. Let's see what do we got here for the.
Could he have gotten after Tom Brady a little bit better than the rest of the guys?
Well, that
perhaps,
perhaps, and maybe he could have,
better than Kingsley Keke at defensive end there.
Yeah,
I think he probably would have been an upgrade over Kingsley Keke.
Oops, I'm in the wrong season. I'm trying to see who their defensive stalwarts. After
Dean Lowry, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary.
Yeah, maybe he could have been the other bookend of Rashawn Gary. That would have been nice. I think it was a mistake. They had the money to spend, right? I don't think that they were.
Well, if only $5 million would have gotten it done, they had cap space for that. For
they
sure.
were 13-4. That could have put them over the top. This was one of those years where it was really disappointing when they faltered against San Francisco in the divisional playoff because they were the top seed and just couldn't get anything done offensively. It wasn't the defense that lost that game against the 49ers. It was the offense. But it was also Kevin King, who had a bad penalty, let Scotty Miller streak down the sideline at the end of the first half, and then had that DPI in the middle of the field that extended that drive for the 49ers as well. Or wait, I'm in the wrong season. I'm thinking of Buccaneers the year before. I'm thinking Buccaneers the year before. Like I said, they all blend together after a while. I'm thinking about that Buccaneers.
I would have liked to have seen it.
I think about Eric
really
Stokes getting burned maybe instead.
Yeah, maybe
in his rookie season.
Kevin King hasn't played since that game. Man. Meanwhile, they could have had TJ and JJ. Come on,
guys.
So sorry about the wrong season about that. But yeah, it was frustrating. I would have loved to have seen JJ Watt in a Packers uniform. He wanted to be in a Packers uniform. He grew up rooting for the Packers. He's talked about that.
But the Packers were like, we'll pass. We got Kingsley Keke.
I think that's a miss.
Yeah.
I think that's a miss. I would love to hear the Packers side of that one.
Yeah.
But they had a good season without JJ Watt.
They did, but it could have been better.
But it was that game against the 49ers offense and special teams let them down. It wasn't the defense. So you can point to that and say, well, they didn't necessarily need him because it wasn't that failure that led to that victory or that defeat. It was bad offense, bad special teams.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe if he was there, maybe, San Francisco still scores, a little bit fewer points, and then Green Bay is still able to win.
Scored 13.
But hey, you never know.
maybe they could have scored 9. And then they would have won 10-9.
Maybe.
Then they would have gone on to the next round.
Yeah. And then who knows what happened. Yeah. So, yeah.
Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State. It is worth chewing on it. There's a lot of what ifs, certainly. Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State Journal joins us next. It's D.N.D. on a Wednesday. Stay with us on the Game Radio Network.
Soldier boy, I'm in it. Why me crack it? Why me roll? Why me crack that soldier boy? That Superman? Why me?
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
Low-budget film Easy Rider captures the public imagination with a soundtrack by Steppenwolf, the Byrds, and the Electric Prunes. The Woodstock Music and Art Fair is held August 15th through 18th on Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel. 32 of the biggest bands of the day played to a crowd estimated at 500,000. The event is later released as a movie and album. And with the boost from their appearance at Woodstock, San Francisco band Santana hits the top 10 with their debut album, Evil Ways. The festival undoubtedly immortalized Jimi Hendrix and ushered in the era of large rock concerts and arena rock bands. Also in October, Led Zeppelin have their only U.S. top 10 hit when Whole Lotta Love reaches number 4.
I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, whole lot of love. Whole lot of love. Whole lot of love.
Allman Brothers Band released their debut album on Capricorn Records to good reviews but limited sales. And 7 years after his last number one, Elvis Presley tops the charts with Suspicious Minds.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Try to set the night on fire.
In January of 1967, Los Angeles band The Doors released their debut album, which eventually goes to number 2, and features the single Light My Fire, which goes to number 1 in July. The Rolling Stones released Ruby Tuesday, an ode to a groupie written by Keith Richards. The song takes them to number 1 in the U.S. in March. And San Francisco band The Jefferson Airplane released the surrealistic Pillow album, scoring 2 top 10 hits with White Rabbit and Somebody to Love.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
In March of 67, Buffalo Springfield re-releases their debut album to include the hit single For What It's Worth. In April of 67, Give Me Some Lovin' by the Spencer Davis Group goes to number 7 in the U.S., with vocals by 17-year-old Steve Winwood. And in May, Elvis Presley marries his 21-year-old girlfriend Priscilla in Las Vegas. In May, Mitch Ryder hits number 4 with Devil with a Blue Dress, Good Golly Miss Molly. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience released their debut in the UK. In July, they toured the U.S. as the opening act for the Monkees in support of the U.S. album release.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1972.
He was singing bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove a Chevy to the levee like the levee was dry. And good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die.
1972, Don McLean goes to number 1 with the single and album American Pie. Paul Simon's solo debut gives him a top 10 hit, Mother and Child Reunion. Fast forward to March, where Neil Young has a number 1 album and a number 1 single with Heart of Gold. And Deep Purple released their quintessential album Machine Head, which goes to number 1 in the UK, number 7 in the US, and features the classic hit Smoke on the Water.
Smoke on the water, a fire in the sky.
Also in March, the band America releases their debut album. It goes to number 1 and yields a number 1 single with Horse with No Name.
See, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
Final segment here on D.N.D. for this Wednesday. As the Packers hit the practice field today, or at least the ones that are able to hit the practice field for a modified practice, because there aren't enough healthy bodies to have a full practice, and it's a short week anyway. So, joining us on the program right now, he covers the Packers and the Badgers and all things Wisconsin sports. His outstanding column in the Wisconsin State Journal is a must-read. We welcome in Jim Polzin to the proceedings. Jim, I appreciate the time. How are you today?
Good, guys. How are you?
Good. Better than Micah Parsons' left knee. Let's start there. How much does this change the next 3 weeks and then potentially the next 2 months for the Green Bay Packers? Because expectations a week ago were sky high. They are less than that now.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of gone back and forth over the last month and a half or so. I thought losing Tucker Kraft was kind of the death knell for this team. I just thought it was going to make it almost impossible for them to win a Super Bowl. I think I had turned the corner to being more optimistic. Even in the first 35 minutes on Sunday at Denver, I like, wow, you know what? This is a team that, despite losing one of their best players, has kind of found it on both sides of the ball. I think they're as good as anybody in the NFC. They can get to the Super Bowl. And then losing Parsons, you know, I just think it's a game changer. I think so much of what happened on that defense is dependent on him and just not only what he does, but the attention the opponent has to give him. And I think it just impacts so many guys around him. I think we saw guys being better players because of his presence on the field. And so I worry about what this defense is going to be like, you know, going forward without, you know, what I think is, I think Jordan Love would have been the biggest loss for this roster. I think Micah Parsons is probably 1B in a lot of ways.
When you consider the path that's left for them, Jim, if this team ultimately goes on a run and they end up in the NFC Championship game, is that because of Jordan Love in your mind?
Probably to a large degree, yes. I mean, I think, you know, there's more on his shoulders now. I mean, that offense has to be really, really good. And that, you know, we can put this all on Jordan Love. The guys around him have to be good too. He needs good protection. I think we saw down the stretch in that Denver game that Denver was getting to him, and that was impacting Jordan Love's play. So the line's got to be good. The guys on the outside have to make plays. Josh Jacobs has to stay healthy. But yes, they need Jordan Love now more than ever to play at an elite level. They need the defense to be as good as it can be without a difference-making edge rusher, right? And you can't replace Micah Parsons. So that means everybody else around him has to be better. Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness have to elevate their games. The guys in the back end, who I think, you know, have never been really sold on the cornerback position this year. I think a lot of, you know, I think they're getting a lot of help from guys like Parsons getting to the quarterback and not having to cover as long. Now those guys have to elevate their games. And so you know, it's like anything. You lose a really good player and everybody else around him has to be so much better. But yes, the quarterback is the most important position on the field, and Jordan Love has to be elite.
Jim, with that, you know, playoff potential, where they could end up going, you know, how elevated these guys are going to have with their play. How much do you think all that ultimately we're going to see maybe determined by the game this week against the Bears? Because you get a win, you're kind of in the driver's seat there in the division, could put you in a much better spot heading into the playoffs. If it's a loss, then you're looking at probably one of the last wild card spots getting in a much tougher uphill battle.
Yeah, I mean, it's the difference between a 2 and a 7 almost, right? I mean, you win this game and you're in really good position to win the division, and that's really good position to be a 2 seed. You lose this game and, you know, you're probably fighting for that 7 spot. So it's a big game. It's a huge game. And I think it's a winnable game. I think when you asked me that first question, I think I took more of a big picture approach to it and how do I view this team's championship chances? And I'll say it right now that I think losing Micah Parsons means their championship chances took a hit. I still think they can win on Sunday, and winning this game would be big. And you want to get into you certainly want a home game or two in the playoffs. And if you can get a 2 seed, make a team like Chicago come to Lambeau in January, I think that would be huge. I worry about the ceiling for this team now is kind of my overall point.
How concerned should Packers fans be about the Lions? They've got a game against the Steelers coming up on Sunday. Pittsburgh, they've got a lot to play for right now. Then they've got the Vikings division rivalry, and then their last game of the season, Detroit, is at Chicago. The Bears will be obviously playing for something as well. But what do you make of this Lions team, who I think, at least for their fans, it's been kind of a disappointing year for them?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly understand that sentiment if you're a Lions fan, because coming off last season and coming so close and then losing that game in the playoffs to the Commanders, I think, you know, at least there was still hope that even though you lose your 2 coordinators, that could still be a really good team. And they've been, you know, more down than up this year. I still view them as a very dangerous team. I still think offensively they've got a lot of weapons, and it's not a team I'd want to face in the playoffs. So I think if you can get them dead and buried and not even in the playoff picture, that'd be ideal. They might, you know, the Packers might need the Lions to win a game down the stretch against Chicago. But you know, I just think that there's probably 5 or 6 teams in the NFC that all kind of look alike, and you can make a strong case for getting through this muddled playoff mess and getting to the Super Bowl. And I think the Lions are one of them. I as much as they struggled at times, and as many hits as they've taken, especially from an injury standpoint, I just think they're a really good team. They've got a lot of really high end players.
Jim, let's transition to the Badgers and the announcement today of the partnership with Learfield as they try and form a new way of generating revenue for NIL and other stuff. I think this is something that we wanted to see tangible evidence of a recommitment or more of a commitment to this. And today they make that announcement that this has been put in place.
Yeah, it's something. I think this university from the get-go with NIL has been kind of big picture focused, and that's just meaning that they want to have relationships that they can count on with partners in the community and in the corporate world. They want to play by the rules as much as they can in the NIL world, and I think this helps. And Colton Bartholomew had a chance to sit down with Chris McIntosh, so I'm basing this entirely off that interview and Colton's story. But there are some interesting factors in that arrangement that I think will be beneficial to student athletes. I'm curious to see how their reaction is to this. I still think people want numbers. They want dollar figures. They want exacts and specifics. And I don't think that still was provided today. There's still some transparency that I think those of us in the media and certainly people, the fans, the ones that are footing the bill to a large degree, want to see and hear. So I think this is a step forward. I don't know if this is the giant step that maybe fans wanted.
Jim, keeping with the Badgers and Badger basketball, their last game obviously, didn't go very well. But Joe Lunardi put out some bracketology, his latest bracketology today. I know it's very early for that. We're still in December. But he had Wisconsin in his next 4 out, not even making the tournament at the moment. How do you view that assessment? Do you think Wisconsin's not a tournament team at this point?
It's so hard for me to say, Dave, because I only see one team for the most part, and I have not sat down and looked at resumes, and certainly it's too early to do that, right? Joe, that's Joe's job, and I'm not trying to criticize what he does, but for the rest of us to sit down and compare Wisconsin to team A, B, and C, it's a fool's errand right now because it's December 17th, right? I will say this, in looking at Wisconsin's resume, there's not a lot on there, right? They don't have the quality wins that they've had at this point in past seasons. They need to stack some big wins. Friday night against Villanova, as of right now, would be a quad 1 opportunity. Now we'll see if that stays as a quad 1 game. That 3 months down the road, that might not be a quad 1 game anymore. But as of right now, it's a quad 1 win. A quad 1 game. It'd be a quality win for Wisconsin. It'd be absolute resume booster heading into 2026. They're going to have, the other thing I'll say is they're going to have a ton of great resume opportunities from January to March because this league is so tough and has so many quad 1 opportunities that there's a tremendous opportunity to play catch up. But I'm not shocked or angry that they're out of the tournament right now on anybody's bracket because I just don't think the resume is there to support the case that they're absolutely a no-brainer NCAA tournament team. I think they've got a lot of work to do and certainly a lot more work to do than they've had in previous years.
Yeah, don't get boat raced by 30 at Nebraska.
Right.
I mean, Nebraska's they're a quality program and your point is well taken about the quad 1 opportunities, but quad 1 opportunities are great. Quad 1 wins are what's going to put you in the field of 68. And right now, I think Greg Gard is kind of looking at his team saying that effort can't happen again, right? I mean, that was bad a long time I can remember.
No, that was the frustrating part. I think if you're watching that game is, losing at Nebraska, there's no shame in that. It's a team that's off to its best start in a lot of years. I think it was, like you said, effort is the one word that sticks out. And defensively, they're not connected. That's a problem, certainly. I don't know that it's a surprising problem considering that Greg Gard's been saying it from day one, that it takes some time to get connected defensively. And I think he's running out of patience on that end of the court, but understands that there's growing pains to be seen in that area. But when it comes down to questioning effort in a team this late, this a month and a half into the season, that's not good. That's something that needs to change. I thought Nebraska was the team that worked way harder and was way more connected in that game. And there's not a 30-point difference in talent between those teams, but I think there's a 30-point difference in effort that night, and that's got to be eye-opening if you're a Wisconsin player. That film had to be hell to watch because it was not pretty live, and I'm sure it was even less pretty when you're forced to watch over and over how lethargic and just unproductive you were.
Before we got to let you go, Jim, it's hard for me to not mention Carter Booth. You got the piece on her, this moment this past week. Now their trip to the Final Four. It's a hell of a program. It's a hell of a story, and it's a really fun team to keep along with.
Watch your mouth, Nick. This is a family show.
I saw your ex comment. The guy said, would you drop it already? And you said something like, I'm not effing dropping it, man, or something.
No, I thought I was outside. I wasn't down in Austin. I am going to Kansas City tomorrow to cover that match, but I was watching and my wife was right next to me and Carter Booth says this and I'm like, did that just happen? Where are the sensors to catch that?
Nope.
But it's turned into this viral moment. And I think what I wrote about today is there's a meaning behind it. Like Carter Booth has clearly reached the point of her career where she's feeling an urgency and she literally is refusing to lose. She's doing everything in her power to make sure she and her teammates around her do everything they can to make sure this train keeps rolling as far as possible, because it's a talented team. And I think we've known all along it's a talented team, and they hit some rocky parts in the middle of the season, especially when Charlie Furbringer was out with a shoulder injury. But it's a talented team, and it's a team, like we used the word connected in the last thing, talking about the men's basketball team. I think this volleyball team is super connected. Like it's been one of the things that's jumped out to Kelly Sheffield is just how much they like each other and how much they want to work for each other and embrace each other. It's been a tremendous story, and now this thing's wide open. Nebraska's out of the tournament, and would not be shocking to see them go down to Kansas City and win 2 more matches.
That would be awesome. Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State Journal. Great stuff as always, Jim. We'll talk to you next week.
Great. Thanks, guys.
All right, there goes Jim Polzin. Safe travels, by the way, back and forth from Kansas City as well. Hopefully he can see them win another national championship. That'll do it for this edition of D.N.D. We're back tomorrow. Thanks to Andrea Belka for dropping by. Thanks for Jim Polzin, Wayne Larrivee, our guests as well. Most importantly, thanks to you guys for listening. We'll do it again tomorrow, and we'll try to be better then.
Booties go. My verses still be serving tight like a...
Now, a year